Civilization Devours. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201. Withdrawal of Profits. The first level is over. The princess gave each person a score according to her own standards, but no one knew what their score was. Then came the second level. The third level. Finally, we reached the last level. The princess told them that in a cave on the cliff in the far north, there lived a ferocious dragon. Its power and bloodthirstiness made the world tremble. The test of the last level is to kill the dragon and bring back its head. But because this is too dangerous, there is a 99.9% chance of failure and death, so before departure you must sign a commitment stating that this is your own voluntary choice to avoid disputes in the future. Oh, the princess is also afraid that if those princes die, other countries will come to cause trouble. Xiaobei expressed his opinion. Yes, Xiaobei is really smart. Chen Mou praised. Originally these people were eager to try, but when they heard it was so dangerous and they had to sign a waiver, they all backed off. The warrior thought, I can beat a tiger, but I can't beat a dragon. Isn't this just sending myself to death? The prince also thought, I have to inherit the throne and fight for the people in the future. It would be a pity to die like this. At this time, the young man from a peasant family was the first to stand up and signed his name on the waiver. Xiaobei shook his head repeatedly after hearing this. Chen Mou was surprised. Why are you shaking your head? Don't you think he is very brave? This man is so unfilial. His parents are still waiting for him at home, but he wants to die. The prince is smarter. Chen Mou was speechless for a moment. This story couldn't be told. He continued with gritted teeth, but, seeing that even an ordinary young man dared to step forward and sign his name, those warriors and princes were also moved and stepped forward one after another. There were as many as 4,000 or 5,000 people participating in the competition, but in the end only dozens of people signed their names. However, when they arrived at the northernmost cliff after a long journey and looked at the cave filled with demonic energy and bursts of fierce roars, the warriors and princes all backed down and left quietly. Only this young man bravely rushed up. There was no evil dragon as imagined. It turned out that this was an illusion arranged by the princess in advance. The young man found the token left by the princess in the cave, returned to the kingdom, and lived happily with the princess. Xiaobei blinked. Dad, why is this different from what I imagined? Shouldn't the princess in the fairy tale live happily with the prince? The princess and the prince are together. That is not a fairy tale, but reality. Okay, it's time to go to bed. Chen Mou had a headache. Every time he told a story, Xiaobei became more and more energetic. Dad, this story is not good. Tell me another story similar to the Bragging King. No more, no more. Go to sleep and tell me another story another day. Chen Mou didn't know what to say for a moment. The confident smile he had before had disappeared. It seemed that he needed to buy some storybooks to study again another day. Okay. Xiaobei covered himself with a quilt and fell asleep 5 minutes later. The next day happened to be the weekend, and Chen Mou's family of 4 began to visit relatives and friends. Chen Mou went to his grandparents' house for dinner. Because of practicing the eternal life secret, the complexions of the elderly were very good. At the grandparents' house, the eldest uncle and second uncle who were doing business outside also rushed back. After practicing, the strength of the eldest uncle and second uncle was a little stronger than Chen Jianai. The eldest uncle Tan Russian's strength reached 570 kilograms, and the second uncle Tan Ruhei's strength reached 560 kilograms. It was not far from the standard of a mysterious person. However, to become a Zuans, one must also meet the speed standard. Both of them are small bosses. Although they are not fat, they probably can't run very fast. Seeing Chen Mou coming back, they were very happy and pulled Chen Mou to talk about the past and the present. After discovering that Chen Mou actually recognized the daughter, all the relatives were amazed. After 2 days of gathering, Chen Jianai and Tan Ziyuan returned to work, while Chen Mou practiced at home and occasionally cooked. The days passed so uneventfully, and the transaction income of the Zuan's exchange network could finally be withdrawn. Chen Mou clicked the withdrawal button, and more than 20 seconds later, he received a message on his mobile phone that 24.3 million yuan had been deposited into his bank card. Originally, when Chen Mou fought against the Grey Prince, he withdrew the manuscript fee and made a lot of money. The balance of his bank card was about 4.8 million. But later, he spent hundreds of thousands on buying nutrient solution and raising the sacred tree. He also needed money for meals, and bought a few small cotton jackets for Xiaobei. After returning home, he bought a few boxes of nutrient solution again. After all this spending, Chen Mou's bank card balance was just over 3.38 million. The main reason was that the nutrient solution, Chen Mou and other cultivation resources were too expensive. After receiving 24.3 million, the total amount in Chen Mou's card reached 27.68 million. There's also some royalties. Chen Mou hasn't withdrawn royalties for a long time. Although he hasn't written a new book, his previous articles still contributed about 70,000 yuan in royalties to him, and Chen Mou withdrew them all. The balance reached 27.75 million. When can I get a commemorative bag of deposits exceeding 100 million yuan? Chen Mou thought. Mom and Dad, I made some money recently, and I'll transfer 3 million to you. Chen Mou mentioned this during dinner in the evening. Did you rob a bank? Chen Jian'ai and Tan Ziyuan looked at each other and saw each other's concerns. No, just 3 million. It's not a lot for me, but it's not much either. Chen Mou had anticipated this situation, so he only dared to transfer 3 million. If he said he wanted to transfer 7, 8, 10 million or something, they would probably be worried to death. The key is that Chen Mou didn't know how to explain it. How can I convince people that a student of mine has researched a result and sold it for 30 million? I am now a high-level miracle apprentice. My realm is not low, so I have many ways to make money. Of course, all the money is earned in a formal way. I also write articles on the Zhuan's exchange website and get a lot of royalties. Chen Mou spent a lot of effort to reassure his parents. You should keep this money for cultivation. Chen Jian'ai waved his hand and refused to take it. After Chen Mou repeatedly assured that he had enough money, his parents agreed to let Chen Mou transfer the money, but only let him transfer 2 million. The mentality of the two people gradually changed. At first, they were panicked, but after gradually accepting the facts, they became happy. Chen Jian'ai and Tan Ziyuan did not know the world of Zhuans. They just thought that maybe their son's realm was high and it would be easy to make money. This at least meant that they didn't have to worry about Chen Mou's future. Now that we have money, why don't we buy a new house? I heard that Jinxiu Mingyun, a few hundred meters away from here, will be officially put on sale in 2 days. All the houses are fully decorated, and you can move in right away if you buy them. Chen Jian'ai's mind turned. He had lived in the old house for so many years, so naturally he had some feelings for it, but it was still a bit cramped, with a total area of only more than 50 square meters, and the lighting conditions were not very good. Chapter 202 Buying a House. Seeing that his mother Tan Ziyuan also agreed, Chen Mou naturally had no objection. 2 days later, Chen Jian'ai and Tan Ziyuan both took a leave, and the three of them, together with Xiaobei, went to Jinxiu Mingyun to look at real estate. As soon as they entered, a shopping guide came out to greet them. This family came out with a child in their arms, and they looked very willing to buy a house. The shopping guide did not dare to neglect it and showed 12 points of enthusiasm. This house has an area of 100 square meters, is well ventilated and well lit, and is only sold for 1.38 million. The shopping guide took Chen Mou and others to see the house. Yonghui City is a populous city, but the economy is not very prosperous. It belongs to the 3rd and 4th tier cities, and the housing prices are neither high nor low. This price also includes fine decoration, which is already quite cheap. Chen Jian'ai shook his head. 100 square meters is still a little small. Although it is spacious enough compared to the old house, a new house will be lived in for many years after purchase, so it has to be bought a bigger one. This house is 110 square meters, luxuriously decorated, with 1 living room, 3 bedrooms, and a study room. It has a beautiful view of lakes and mountains. It's only 1.49 million. How about it? The shopping guide took them to the next house and praised it. Lakes and mountains. Tan Ziyuan began to study it. The lake was an artificial lake in the building, and the mountain was a mountain range in the distance. The scenery was nice, but from this angle, it was mostly blocked by the building next door. Damn lakes and mountains. No, let's take a look at the next one. Tan Ziyuan shook his head like a rattle. Then take a look at this one. It is definitely a sincere work of our group. The shopping guide led Chen Mou and others to move forward. After arriving, the shopping guide began to introduce, This room has an area of 120 square meters, with a wide view and unobstructed scenery. It also has one living room, 3 bedrooms and a study, 2 independent bathrooms and a kitchen as standard, so there is no need to introduce it in detail. Look at the decoration, the materials are solid. The price is also fair, only 1.55 million yuan. Chen Jianyi nodded. This house is indeed good, with good light and good decoration style. The price of 1.55 million yuan for 120 square meters is cheaper than the previous 2 houses if the price per square meter is calculated. What do you think? Chen Jianyi asked. Tan Ziyuan nodded, and Chen Mou had no objection. This price can be reduced? Chen Jianyi began to bargain. Mr. Chen, our prices are fixed, there is really no way to reduce the price. This price is already very fair. The shopping guide looked embarrassed. Chen Jianyi was not fooled and insisted on getting some discounts. Okay, everyone, wait a moment, I will ask the manager, and I will definitely try my best to get a discount for you. The shopping guide ran to a distant place to make a phone call. Chen Mou shook his head at this time. It's all a trick. What do you mean? Chen Jianyi asked. This shopping guide understands people's psychology very well. First, he took us to see some houses with poor conditions but higher prices. If we buy it, it's good. If we raise objections, he will take us to see this better house. After comparison, we will naturally think that this house is good and have the intention to buy. This is the power of comparison. What? The trick is so deep. Chen Jianyi was surprised. Then should we say that this house is not good, he may take us to see a better one. That's unnecessary. As the saying goes, things never happen more than 3 times. This is the 3rd house, and this one is indeed much better than the first 2. In addition, this shopping guide proposed to call the manager to get a discount for us. In fact, this move will pull us to the same front and fight against the manager together, which will reduce the distance between us invisibly. This so-called request is just talk, it won't reduce it too much. Chen Mou also studied some psychology in high school, and the little thoughts of the shopping guide were exposed in front of him. Tan Ziyuan was a little angry when she heard this. This guy actually played us around. We have to ask him to lower the price a little more, otherwise we won't buy it. The parents felt that knowledge is power, and reading more makes a difference. They are so old, but they don't understand as well as their own son. Good news, everyone. After some requests, the manager finally agreed to reduce the price by 5,000 yuan. It only needs 1.545 million. The shopping guide showed a professional fake smile. 1.545 million, the number 4, is not a good omen. Chen Jianyi said lightly, how about this, round it up, 1.5 million is okay. The shopping guide's face changed, he met an expert. There is really no way. Our house premium is very low, it is a conscience price. A discount of 5,000 is already good. If we discount it more, we will lose money. 1.5 million, full payment, just tell me whether to sell it or not. If not, I will go to the property next door to look around. Chen Jianyi originally planned to buy it in full, but it was too troublesome to get a loan. He brought it up here mainly to help negotiate the price. Car sales prefer you to buy a car with a loan, while real estate developers are more willing to accept full payment, which can quickly recover cash flow. Of course, the difference between full payment and loan is not very big. After all, the loan is owed to the bank. The most important thing is that Chen Jianyi said that he would not buy it without a discount. This tough attitude does not seem to be pretended for the purpose of negotiating the price. It seems that if the negotiation fails, he will leave immediately. The shopping guide felt that this matter was troublesome. I will ask the manager again. After 3 minutes, the shopping guide came back. You can get a discount of 30,000 yuan. How about 1.52 million? We are really sincere. Chen Jianyi felt that this was almost the bottom line. He exchanged glances with Tan Ziyuan and Chen Mou and agreed. The shopping guide breathed a sigh of relief. This family of 4 was too ruthless. How could the routine that had always worked before fail? Chen Mou wanted to pay, but his parents insisted that the money should come from the 2 million. Because it was a full payment, the process was relatively simple. After the shopping guide took a few people to go through a series of procedures and paid the house price, the entire house buying process was completed. Chen Jianyi hired a moving company to move some furniture and supplies from the old house to the new house. He also bought some new furniture. For example, for a large bed, he chose to buy a new one. It was troublesome to move the old one. If he put it in the old house, he might have a chance to go back and lie down there in the future, although the chance was not great. These things were rather complicated and took 2 days to deal with. During this time, Chen Mou and others still lived in the old house. Moving to a new house. After everything was ready, Xiaobei happily rushed into the new house and looked left and right. Chen Jianai and Tan Ziuan stood at the door, speechless for a moment, their eyes slightly red. In the past, in order to support Chen Mou's studies, the family's financial situation was very tight. The salaries of the two were not enough, and they owed some money to relatives. As for buying a house, it could only be thought of in dreams. Unexpectedly, in just over half a year, not only did they pay off all the debts, but they also owned a new house. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203 Buying a Car. Chen Mou was also filled with emotion. Chen Mou's plan long ago was to buy a car when he had money. But in Xinghua Academy, there was no place to use a car, and with a strong cultivation, he could come and go like the wind, so there was no need to drive. Unexpectedly, he has now achieved a higher goal in life and has a new house. Every Chinese has a strong obsession with houses. A house is a place to shelter from the wind and rain, and a place to live. With a house, there is a strong sense of security. It is no wonder that many people would rather buy a house with a mortgage for 20 or 30 years. However, it is too much of a sacrifice to do this for a house. I can buy a car from my parents later. Although it is not far from the unit, it is still more convenient to drive. Chen Mou planned. There is a car at home, but there is only one, and it is quite old. The road condition sensor of this car is relatively backward. According to regulations, the driving speed in automatic driving mode shall not exceed 60 km per hour. Moreover, my parents do not work in the same unit. Although they are not far apart, it is not very convenient. Dad, which room did you choose? Xiaobei moved his legs and ran around the room excitedly. This one. Chen Mou pointed. Xiaobei rushed in again, and soon a surprised voice came, there is a new computer. Hey, don't play for too long, just play for an hour, and I'll take you to the community later. Chen Mou was worried about Xiaobei's growth. If she continued like this, she would become an internet addict. We must strengthen her guidance. When he walked in, he saw Xiaobei sitting upright on the computer chair, watching cartoons happily. Chen Mou was a little helpless about Xiaobei. Generally speaking, children of this age are in elementary school and learning knowledge. But Xiaobei was determined not to go to school. No matter how Chen Mou tempted, gave rewards, and told Xiaobei that he could make many friends at school, it was useless. Every time Chen Mou frowned, Xiaobei hugged his thighs and acted cute, leaving Chen Mou helpless. And Xiaobei is really smart. In order to test her, Chen Mou bought some exercise books for the 2nd and 3rd grade of elementary school for Xiaobei to do. At first, Xiaobei didn't know how to do it, but after 2 days of study, she completely mastered it and scored 100 points on every test. Thinking about it this way, it seems that there is really no need to go to elementary school, at least there is no need to study in the 3rd grade of elementary school, just read books. Forget it, take Xiaobei out to play during the holiday, so that she won't become a dead house. Chen Mou practiced in the room for a while, and his cultivation became a little deeper, but the bottleneck of the miracle master still trapped him firmly, and there was no possibility of breaking through for the time being. Chen Mou's mentality has gradually changed now, from the previous heavy pressure and hard practice every moment to the current letting things take their course. Although I understand that I will face extremely powerful enemies in the future, there is no need to spend every minute and every second on practice. There are many meaningful things in life. If you miss too many scenery along the way just for that imaginary enemy, wouldn't it be a pity? Chen Mou is not worried about failing in the end because of not practicing hard. Because he has the belief that he will win. There is no reason, nor is it that Chen Mou has mastered some trump card to turn the tables, but it is a mentality, a belief. Even if that group of people are the supreme beings in the world, so what? I can rewrite the future. Of course, hard work is still necessary, and you can't relax too much. No matter what the circumstances, diligence is better than laziness. After Xiaobei finished watching 2 episodes of cartoons, Chen Mou took her out of the house and strolled around the community. Xiaobei seemed very happy that her father took her out to play, jumping all the way. There is no worry in the hearts of children, and every day is full of laughter. They don't need to think too much, just think about whether this cartoon is good or not, and if it's not good, they can change it. Chen Mou looked at Xiaobei's smile, and he was also infected, as if he had returned to his childhood. At that time, the sky was blue, the clouds were white, and you only needed a small popsicle to be happy all day. After playing outside for a day, Chen Mou took Xiaobei back home for dinner. The next day, Chen Mou took Xiaobei out again and went to the car dealership. As soon as I entered the store, a staff member came up to me enthusiastically. "Sir, do you have an appointment?" "No, let me take a look first," Chen Mou said. "Okay, you are welcome. You can contact me anytime if you need anything. There are all kinds of vehicles on display in the lobby of the car dealership, which makes people dazzled." "Dad, these cars are so cheap." Xiaobei looked at the price tag and was surprised. Some cheaper cars cost only about 120,000 or 130,000 yuan. It's about the same price as my clothes. Xiaobei remembered that he spent 120,000 yuan on clothes that day. Later, he spent more than 100,000 yuan on a winter cotton jacket. "Your clothes are too expensive." Chen Mou shook his head. Now that technology has improved and materials are abundant, the performance and stability of a 120,000 or 130,000 yuan car are already very good. If you really want to drive fast, the speed is also very fast. Think about it, it's just the price of 2 boxes of nutrient solution. This doesn't mean that the car is cheap. After all, many people's monthly salary is only a few thousand yuan. It only means that the nutrient solution is too expensive. Cultivation is indeed a costly thing. Although my parents have been promoted now, their monthly salary is less than 10,000 yuan. Of course, this is also because Yanghui City's economy is not very developed. Chen Mou was strolling around when he suddenly saw some movement at the door of the car dealership. The staff gathered. "Warmly welcome Miss Yan Huil to come to my car dealership to pick up the car." The staff lined up in 2 rows in front of the door, with a long red carpet in the middle. "What's going on? Such a big show? I came to buy a car, and only one staff member received me," an onlooker said indignantly. "You buy a car worth more than 100,000 yuan, what's the point of talking?" The Zhongsheng I Reserve dare not have any objections. "Do you know where this Miss Yan came from? What car did you reserve? What's her background? What car?" the man immediately asked, and the people around him pricked up their ears to listen. Seeing that everyone's eyes were focused on him, the owner of this Hongsheng car smiled proudly and said, "You haven't heard of the name Yan Huil, but you should have heard of Yan Zhen. This, the richest man in Yanghui City. You mean this Miss Yan?" "Yes, she is the daughter of the richest man." The car owner, who was very indignant at the beginning, immediately became timid. He couldn't afford to offend such a person. The owner of this Hongsheng car continued, "And this Miss Yan is not only from a wealthy family, she is also very powerful. This girl is now in the 3rd year of high school, and often tops the city's league. It should be easy for her to get into the top 4. She will have a bright future at that time." Everyone was even more shocked when they heard this. Chapter 204. The daughter of the richest man. In the car dealership, everyone was slightly moved when they heard that Yan Huil was sure to be admitted to the 4 famous schools. In this world, the mysterious masters have the final say. Many bosses look up to students who can be admitted to the 4 famous schools. These people have a bright future. As long as they are not the kind of people who just eat and wait for death in school all day, and are a little more motivated, they can generally cultivate to the level of miracle masters. It is not to say that you can reach the level of miracle masters after graduation, but to say that in the days to come, you should cultivate step by step and strive to become a miracle master before the age of 40. As for those who can reach the level of miracle masters before graduating from the senior year, they are already considered little geniuses, and they are expected to reach the level of law scholars in the future. People like Chen Mou, who plan to reach the level of miracle masters in the 2nd semester of the freshman year, are difficult for ordinary people to understand, and generally no one believes it. It is true that a dragon gives birth to a dragon, and a phoenix gives birth to a phoenix. The daughter of the richest man is so talented. If she waits until she cultivates to the level of law scholars in the future, who dares to mess with her? One person sighed. Law scholars are a rare breed in Yanghui City. They are definitely big shots. If Yan Huale can reach this level, his status is estimated to be higher than his father. What car did she buy? Seeing that the topic of discussion was getting more and more off topic, someone led it back. The owner of the All Beings car said, "That day, Miss Yan came to order a car. I happened to be there. She ordered the latest model of Phantom Elf, which costs more than 10 million yuan. The car dealership had no stock, so they had to transfer the goods quickly." The harsh numbers were heard, which triggered another wave of sighs. 10 million, I can't make that much money in my life. Is this the world of the rich? Xiaobei heard this and said in a childish voice, 10 million, so much money, how many meals can you eat? It's such a waste to buy a car with it. The crisp voice was very penetrating, and it fell into the ears of everyone, causing a burst of laughter. This kid is so funny. Why is he always thinking about eating? 10 million is enough for you to eat for a lifetime. These people laughed without malice. What do kids know? But what people didn't expect was that Chen Mou next to him nodded and said, "It's really a waste. Wouldn't it be better to buy a car worth 2 or 300,000? Let Xiaobei take the rest for a big meal." Xiaobei chuckled. "Dad is so good to me." As soon as this was said, the people around him looked down on him. The child can be said to be innocent. If an adult still said this, it was obviously a manifestation of shallow knowledge. Have you ever seen 10 million? Come here to express your opinion. One person said sarcastically, "It is said that there were two farmers who imagined the luxurious life of the emperor. One said, 'I think the emperor must eat white facial mask every day.' The other said, 'Not only that, I think the emperor must use a golden hoe when he goes to the fields.'" The whole room laughed. Indeed, for the richest man, what is 10 million? Isn't it funny that this person uses his own thinking to guess the richest man's proud daughter? Chen Mou was not angry when he heard this, and he laughed too. Without paying too much attention to Chen Mou's performance, everyone was attracted by the movement of the gate. Two girls walked in, completely ignoring the welcome ceremony of many staff members, and talked to themselves. One of the girls was wearing a red skirt, with a slender body, a radiant body, and picturesque eyebrows and eyes. Every move was the focus of the audience. There was a noble temperament in her. This temperament is hard to explain, and perhaps only 4 words can describe it, that is, indescribable. There is no need for this Hongsheng car owner to say more, everyone knew at a glance that this girl was Yan Huale. The girl next to Yan Huale was slightly inferior in appearance, but she could also be regarded as pretty. The two walked very slowly, chatting along the way, completely ignoring the many eyes. This is an invisible arrogance, but this arrogance comes as a matter of course, not deliberately. Yan Huale spoke, his words were clear and crisp, like pearls falling on a plate. "Xiaoyu, where's Xiaotong? Didn't you say that she wanted to come and join in the fun and see the world?" Xiaoyu sighed. Xiaotong was going to come, but now she said she wants to intensify her training at home. She has vowed to be admitted to Xinghua Academy. I think her grades are a bit unreal. Yan Huale shook his head. Teacher Zheng is not an ordinary person. Even Mayor Duan has visited him many times recently. With his help, Xiaotong's hope of being admitted to Xinghua Academy is still very high. Xiaoyu showed envy. "You are still lucky. You can all get into the top 4. With my grades, there is no hope. I can only get into an ordinary key school." Yan Huale didn't know how to comfort him after hearing this, so he could only remain silent. "By the way, why did you buy this broken phantom? It's so expensive, you might as well buy a Class B mecha. I just watched the new product launch of his Hongshin mecha last night. The performance has been improved, and the shape is very cool." Xiaoyu's depression was only a moment, and soon she was laughing again. "I've paid the money, and although the mecha is good, if you really want to race, the car is more professional." Yan Huale took advantage of the winter vacation to pass several car tests in 5 days, quickly got her driver's license, and was about to enjoy the thrill of racing. Like her fiery red skirt, Yan Huale was born with a fiery personality, likes excitement, likes challenges, and wants to be the first in everything. Anyway, I still think that the B-class mecha is good, but unfortunately the purchase control of mecha is much stricter than that of cars. You must go through a complicated application process, otherwise I really want to buy the new mecha released by Hongshin Mecha Group. Xiaoyu muttered. Yan Huale said, "Your information is out of date. The new mecha of Hongshin Mecha Group is destined to be cannon fodder." Haiyan War Armor Company has released new news that it will launch a new B-class mecha. Thanks to the improvement of the energy line, not only the energy shield conversion efficiency is greatly improved, the loss is reduced, and the burst power and other indicators have also made considerable progress. Is it that strong? Xiaoi prepared to go back in search. Yan Huil said, "There is too much data, I have forgotten the details, but it is very strong anyway. There is still some time before the press conference, you will understand when you watch the press conference. Miss Yan, please wait, the Phantom Elf is in the warehouse, we will send it to you soon, the procedures and licenses have been completed, you can drive away directly." The staff saw that the two stopped talking temporarily and came up to say. Yan Huil nodded, but Xiaoi looked around bored. There are many cars here. Xiaoi came here this time, in addition to seeing the Phantom Elf, she also planned to see other cars. While scanning her eyes, she saw a familiar figure. "Brother Chen Mou." Xiaoi shouted in surprise and ran over. "Who are you?" Chen Mou was in front of a car with a price tag of 200,000, asking the salesperson for specific parameters, and turned his head when he heard the voice. "Brother, you may not know me, but you know Zhang Xiaotong, I am Xiaotong's friend." Xiaoi looked happy. Seeing this, Yan Huil also stepped over here. Chapter 205 Group Photo. Chen Mou reacted after hearing this. Zhang Xiaotong is the daughter of teacher Zheng. Chen Mou and her have met many times, and they can be considered friends. "Hello, senior brother." Yan Huil came over and greeted him lightly. Chen Mou could feel that Yan Huil's attitude was rather cold, and he only greeted him out of politeness. Chen Mou didn't care about this and replied, "Hello. Huil, senior brother is very good. He is currently studying at Xinghua Academy. Didn't you say that you are also going to apply for Xinghua?" Xiaoi said with a smile. Yan Huil nodded, glanced up and down, and looked at Chen Mou casually. She had also heard about Chen Mou's deeds. After all, they were both students of Yonghui High School. It is said that Chen Mou had always performed mediocrely, but suddenly rose against the sky some time before the college entrance examination. In the end, he was admitted to Xinghua Academy with the first place in the written test and the third place in the comprehensive score in the city. If it were other students, they would definitely look up to this achievement, but Yan Huil didn't feel anything. She has always been the top one in her class and often won the first place. This time, Yan Huil's goal for the college entrance examination was to get first place in both the written test and the practical test. In fact, Yan Huil's target has always been Chu Xiaoxi. However, Chu Xiaoxi's talent is so strong that even the Saint family is afraid of it. Although Yan Huil is proud, he never dares to say that he can be on par with Chu Xiaoxi. It is said that Chu Xiaoxi has always admired Chen Mou very much, but when he saw him today, he didn't feel anything special. His aura is quite strong, but this kind of strength is within Yan Huil's expectations. He doesn't have any special temperament. Chen Mou doesn't know what the other party thinks, and even if he knows, he won't care. When he first practiced the magic dragon body forging method, he was very sharp and people felt that he was not easy to mess with at first glance. Now that his realm is high, his aura is restrained and not eye-catching. "Brother, are you here to buy a car today too?" Xiaoi asked curiously. "Yes. Which one did you like?" "I think this flag is good." Chen Mou pointed. The flag car is not known for its outstanding performance, but it is enough. The most attractive thing is its stability, and the failure rate is very low. The car body is also very strong, with good materials and strong anti-collision ability. The price of 200,000 is neither high nor low, and it is in the middle position. This kind of car is undoubtedly suitable for parents to commute to work, and it will not attract too much attention. In fact, according to Chen Mou's idea, his parents simply don't have to go to work, retire early and live on their old age. Anyway, they don't rely on that salary to live. Not to mention that Chen Mou now has savings, just becoming a mysterious person, the monthly subsidy he can receive is not low. But his parents are quite satisfied with their work in the unit and have become small leaders, but they don't want to retire early to avoid doing nothing at home. Yan Huil glanced at the price tag. The price of 200,000 is not low, but it also proves that Chen Mou's family background is indeed average. Xiaoi looked at Xiaobei. "Brother, is this your sister?" "So cute. What sister? I am my father's daughter." Xiaobei was not satisfied. Why does every stranger think he is a sister? Xiaoi opened her mouth into an O shape. "Brother, You have a child so early? Who is her mother? Could it be Sister Chu? Chen Mou had a black line on his face. He didn't know how old Xiaobei was, but he looked like he had to be 5 or 6 years old, right? How could he be his biological child? This is a gift for topping up my phone bill. Chen Mou patted Xiaobei on the back. Xiaobei raised his head, looking very proud. Xiaobei was puzzled. Why is he so proud of the gift for topping up my phone bill? By the way, brother, can I take a photo with you? You look so handsome when you defeated Duan Fechen that day. Sure. Chen Mou was a little surprised. Why was this person so enthusiastic? Could she be his little fangirl? He didn't think he would have such a thing. Huil, take a photo for us. Xiaoyu handed over the phone. Yan Huil nodded, walked to a slightly farther distance, adjusted the angle, and took a photo of the 3 people in front of him. Girls are born with the ability to take photos, and the photos are very good. Chen Mou stood in front of the car. His figure was as straight as a pine tree, especially his eyes, deep as the ocean, with an indescribable temperament. Yan Huil looked at the photo and suddenly felt that Chen Mou's image was a little taller, no longer the ordinary look before. But after a closer look, there seemed to be nothing special. Maybe it's an illusion. Yan Huil shook his head. Chen Mou was able to be admitted to Xinghua, and he had the ability, at least better than himself now, but he lacked the courage to swallow thousands of miles like a tiger. Xiaoyu took the phone and expressed satisfaction. When my senior brother is famous all over the country in the future, I can take this photo out to show off. Huil, you can take a photo too. Okay, senior brother shouldn't mind, right? Yan Huil wanted to refuse, but agreed for some reason. Chen Mou naturally had no objection. Xiaoyu took on the responsibility of taking pictures and took several photos. In the photo, Chen Mou and Yan Huil stood side by side. Yan Huil was wearing a red dress, like a burning flame, which made her skin look even whiter. These 2 people look quite compatible. It's a pity that Huil is destined to lose to senior sister Chu. Xiaoyu muttered in her heart. Girls of her age like to pair up with others. The audience around was stunned. They thought Chen Mou was a bumpkin, but they didn't expect that these people actually knew each other and were familiar with each other to the extent of taking a photo together. Some people knew Yan Huil and knew that although she had a fiery personality, it did not mean that she was enthusiastic towards people. On the contrary, this woman was cold to strangers. It turns out that this person is pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger, which makes him pretend to be a force invisibly. Some people looked at Chen Mou and suddenly understood. You are worthy of pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger? With your strength, you have nothing to do with tigers. How dare the owner of the motor car mock me? You are driving a motor car, so you have no right to speak in front of me. Who said I want to buy a motor car? I just passed by to take a look. I am going to buy the flag car. Didn't you see that this guy also likes the flag? The 2 of them obviously had a grudge for a long time, and they got into a fight when they got the chance. The Phantom Elf is here. Someone shouted, and immediately attracted the attention of the audience. The staff drove the Phantom Elf out carefully, fearing that there would be any scratches. The shape does not deliberately pursue the pursuit of coolness, but the body line design is very good, which is pleasing to the eye and can also greatly reduce wind resistance. The bright black body, with a little starlight, gives people an endless sense of mystery. Everyone unconsciously held their breath and silently looked at this car that cost 10 million yuan. To be honest, a car worth 10 million is a means of transportation, and a car worth 200,000 or 300,000 is also a means of transportation. If they are not on the hands of car enthusiasts, there is actually not much difference. Moreover, many people use automatic driving and do not pursue the sense of control. However, cars of this price have transcended the attributes in the ordinary sense and become a symbol of status. In many cases, the attributes of commodities are actually given by people unconsciously. Chapter 206 Party Notice. Please inspect the car, Miss Yan. The staff said respectfully. Yan Huil checked it casually, not caring too much. The price of 10 million is not low, but it is not worth her too much attention. After sitting in the seat, starting the car, checking the parameters, and confirming that there are no safety hazards, Yan Huil asked Xiaoyu to sit in the co-pilot's seat, waved goodbye to Chen Mou, and then drove away. Everyone took the opportunity to take a few photos, planning to post them in the group to brag. After the 2 left, Chen Mou called the staff next to him and prepared to buy 2 flags. 1 is 200,000, and 2 is 400,000. The staff enthusiastically introduced the interest-free policy to him, saying that each car can enjoy the discount of 75,000 loan, 3-year installment, no interest, or 100,000 loan, 2-year installment, no interest. Chen Mou was too lazy to make it so complicated, so he bought it in full. Anyway, a car is equivalent to the price of a box of enhanced nutrient solution. Chen Mou turned on the vehicle's automatic driving function and drove all the way to his new home. 2 cars drove out one after the other, and Chen Mou and Xiaobai sat in the car in front. The road condition sensor of this car is more advanced, meeting the latest national standards, and can drive at a higher speed. After Chen Mou arrived, he asked a little and learned that the underground parking space of Jingxiu Mingyu needs to be purchased additionally, and one parking space costs 180,000. No wonder the house is cheaper. It turns out that it is waiting here. Chen Mou sighed that he was really a profiteer. After bargaining to no avail, he could only quietly pay for 2 parking spaces. After returning home, he mentioned the matter of buying a car to his parents. After buying a house and a car, Chen Mou felt that his life had reached its peak. In the following days, Chen Mou practiced silently at home, and occasionally took Xiaobai out for a stroll. The spiritual energy in Yanghui City is naturally not as rich as that in Xinghua Academy. After all, there is a magic circle that gathers spiritual energy in Xinghua. Accustomed to the concentration of spiritual energy in Xinghua, returning here all of a sudden, there is a feeling of thin spiritual energy. Practicing in this environment is naturally not as fast as practicing in Xinghua, and Chen Mou's strength improvement is also affected to a certain extent. But the problem is not big. First of all, Chen Mou is practicing Sea Swallow Secret, the Storm Divine Cannon. Any disturbance can provide him with energy and temper his body. The second is Xiaobei's strange characteristics. He can unconsciously gather spiritual energy when he is asleep. The spiritual energy here is relatively thin during the day. Once Xiaobei falls asleep, the concentration of spiritual energy will gradually increase. Chen Mou takes the opportunity to practice for a while. In this case, Chen Mou can practice even if he is asleep, but the speed of practice is slower than when he is awake. The phone rang, and Chen Mou picked it up. The caller was Duan's Hengcheng, the old monitor of high school. Is it Chen Mou? Did you go home during the winter vacation? Check the news in the group. How about getting together? Chen Mou usually doesn't like to socialize, but since it is a gathering among classmates, he can go to get together, and he immediately agreed. After hanging up the phone, he opened the class group and saw that the group had mentioned the gathering 2 days ago. Many people responded, but some classmates did not move. As a former monitor, Duan's Hengcheng called one by one to notify them to prevent anyone from missing the news. Chen Mou edited a message in the group and sent it out, saying that he had also signed up. As soon as the message was sent, it immediately aroused a warm response. Chen Mou, who has not been seen for thousands of years, finally showed up. It seems that the class monitor has notified him. Master, is the environment of Xinghua Academy very good? I heard that there are law scholars everywhere. Although there are law scholars as teachers in my school, there are not too many. Chen Mou was speechless for a moment. There are indeed many law scholars in Xinghua Academy, but it is far from the level of being everywhere. There are indeed many teachers at the level of law scholars in Xinghua, but there are also many high-level miracle masters. Chen Mou replied. Awesome, it seems that the teachers are at least high-level miracle masters. Zhu Chengwen said, I have gained a lot of experience since I went to college. In my eyes, miracle masters were all top-notch figures. I didn't expect to see law scholars. That momentum is hard to describe, as if the world is moving with it. Gu Keishan said, yes, the world outside is too vast, and there are geniuses everywhere. It's really stressful to compete with them. Speaking of which, Chen Mou is studying in Xinghua Academy. There are many more geniuses there than in our school, right? Qin Jian said. There are indeed many geniuses there. Chen Mou replied. He thought of Huang Fuzet. Although the two of them tied, Chen Mou had to admit that Huang Fuzet put him under great pressure. At that time, Chen Mou was holding the soul-slaying sword and controlling the power of the ocean to fight him, otherwise it would be difficult to compete. Perhaps only when Chen Mou is promoted to the realm of Miracle Master can he easily fight Huang Fuzet. Huang Fuzet is still not the most talented in Xinghua Academy. Not to mention the seniors in the 3rd and 4th years, Lin Sichen, who ranked below Huang Fuzet, was probably much stronger than Huang Fuzet, which Chen Mou could feel. In addition, Lin Chuanzuo's physique seemed to be very special, even Chen Mou couldn't understand it, and it should not be underestimated. Su Dao and Chen Kai have made great progress in their strength recently. Chen Mou said so. It seems that there are really many geniuses in the school. The city champions in my school are already very strong, not to mention that there are many provincial champions in Xinghua. Zhu Chengwen sighed slightly. Chen Mou. I didn't say that the provincial champions were very strong. These provincial champions were just so-so, and they were all suppressed by Su Dao alone. Lin Chuanzuo, who made Chen Mou feel a little threatened, was not the provincial champion, and even his ranking in the college entrance examination was not too high. Lin Sichen was not the provincial champion that year. The children from the Lin family are more patient than each other. Did Chen Mou feel pressure when he was studying there? Another classmate asked. It's okay. I don't feel any pressure for the time being. Chen Mou thought about it. Although there are some equally matched opponents, it's not that he feels pressure. Chen Mou has now swept the freshmen and launched a strong challenge to the sophomores. If there is pressure, it should be the sophomores who feel the pressure. After all, it's not shameful for Chen Mou to lose, but if a sophomore is defeated by a freshman, it's not glorious. Chen Mou has a really good mentality. We should learn from him. The classmates all laughed. In their opinion, it is not easy to maintain such a good mentality in the competitive atmosphere of Xinghua. The discussion in the group was heated, and finally the topic returned to the party, and the location and date were decided. The same place as the day after the college entrance examination, Haiyan Jue Hotel. The time is tomorrow. Chapter 207 Reunion. The cost of this dinner is tentatively set at 10,000 yuan per person. If there is a surplus, it will be refunded. If it is insufficient, the difference will be paid by the rich classmates in the class. This consumption can be said to be very high. After all, they are just a group of students. But the consumption level of Haiyan Jue Hotel is like this. On the other hand, although this group of people are students, most of them are also Zuans, and their ability to make money is also very strong, even stronger than most people who have graduated and started working. Are you all off now? I'll pay for the dinner first. Duan Zhengcheng opened a private chat window and sent a message. The students in the class have relatively good family conditions, and Chen Mou's family can be said to be the bottom one. After all, cultivation is a costly thing, and it cannot be supported without a good family. Duan Zhengcheng didn't think that 10,000 yuan was a big problem for Chen Mou. Even if Chen Mou's family was average, with the strength he showed during the college entrance examination, he could earn a lot by finding a part-time job. But the competition in college is more intense than they imagined. Many people are unwilling to waste time on part-time jobs and are using various resources on campus to improve themselves. The equipment and venues in the university are very rich, and teachers are even more difficult to find. After graduation, there will be no such conditions. Duan Zhengcheng was not sure what Chen Mou was in. Thank you for your kindness, squad leader. I usually make a lot of money by doing part-time jobs. Chen Mou smiled. Duan Zhengcheng was still very thoughtful. What he said was also very true. Writing articles and studying mecha improvements are actually part-time jobs. Okay, see you tomorrow. Duan Zhengcheng replied. The next day, Chen Mou drove to Haiyan Jue Hotel. After parking the car in the hotel parking lot and coming to the main entrance, Duan Zhengcheng and many classmates were already waiting there. Chen Mou stepped forward and talked about the past with everyone. Classmates arrived one after another. After about 10 minutes, Duan Zhengcheng looked at his watch and said, "It's almost time. Let's go in." It's still the old place. Haiyan Jue Hotel covers a large area. Before everyone arrived at their destination, they saw a middle-aged man in a suit and a blessed figure coming out to greet them. "Mr. Duan is here, which makes me feel very honored. Why didn't you inform me in advance so that I could prepare in advance?" The middle-aged man's smile was very contagious, making people feel that he was warm and hospitable from the bottom of their hearts. "Why is Mr. Ding here? This little thing is not worth bothering you." Duan Zhengcheng was a little surprised. This person was Ding Qi, the boss of Haiyan Jue Hotel, who was also a top figure in Yonghua City and had considerable power. No trouble, you are all the proud children of Yonghua City, and the future of Yonghua City is still in your hands. This must be Chengwen. Your father and I had dinner together yesterday. Ding Qi looked at Zhu Chengwen. "Hello, Uncle Ding." Zhu Chengwen hurriedly greeted him. Ding Qi greeted several people he knew, and finally led everyone to Junzi Pavilion in person, and promised to offer 40% off on all dishes tonight. Although the profit of Haiyan Jue Hotel is quite high, 40% off is close to the cost price, which is not profitable at all, and even slightly loss-making. It must be said that Dinky is indeed sincere. Boasting, why are you so free today and even went out of your way to greet these people? The manager asked in confusion after Dinky returned to the office. In his opinion, with Dinky's status, there is no need to waste time on this group of students. Generally speaking, the parents of these people are his communication partners. Dinky's status is not just as simple as the boss of Haiyan Jue Hotel. He has many industries under him and is usually busy with work and social activities. What do you know? I just happened to be here and came out to do a favor. If this group of people come again in the future, they will all be charged at a 40% discount. Yes. The manager felt that it was unnecessary to do this, but since it was the boss's order, he naturally would not refute it. Just do it honestly and it's done. By the way, what's this person's name? Dinky suddenly operated, called up the surveillance, switched back to the scene in the middle of the road just now, and pointed at Chen Mou among the crowd. I don't know him either. I'll go ask him. The manager took a photo and went out. After a while, he came back and said, I found out that this person is called Chen Mou. He was the top scorer in the written exam of the college entrance examination last year. He should have been admitted to Xinghe Academy now. If this person comes alone, you can give him a 50% discount. Dinky ordered. The manager was stunned. What's so special about this person? He came alone and he has more face than his classmates? Boasting, why is that? Dinky shook his head secretly. When I greeted everyone just now, you were also there, didn't you feel anything special? Boasting, you know that I am not strong enough, how can I compare with you? Dinky laughed, your flattery skills have improved again. Not very good at work, but the best at flattery. The manager laughed, not ashamed but proud. Let me tell you this, I feel a vague threat from this person. Dinky said. The manager was shocked and blurted out, this is impossible, your cultivation. He knew that Dinky had reached the realm of miracle master. Although it was only the beginning, he was already superior to many bigwigs in the circle. The rich people in Yonghui City were mostly busy with business and had less time for cultivation. Even if they had a lot of resources, it was difficult to improve their cultivation. How could a student have the strength to threaten Dinky? Don't make a fuss. I told you not to stay here all the time, go out more and see the outside world. Dinky said, there are some geniuses in the world whose abilities are beyond your imagination. This Chen Mou is just a threat to me, and he is not my opponent for the time being. However, in those higher education institutions, there are many students who have the strength to suppress me. This, I still can't believe it. The manager murmured. Dinky stood up, walked to the window, and looked into the distance. Not seeing it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Only by admitting shortcomings can we make progress. In the gentleman's pavilion, everyone sat around. This gathering has fewer people than the last gathering after the college entrance examination. Zhu Chengwen sighed. Zhao Junwen shrugged, it can't be helped. We are so far apart, it's hard to get together again. Let's cherish the fate in front of us. Duan Zhengcheng said, Chu Xiaoxi didn't come, and Chen Kai didn't come either. Only Chen Mou came among the 3 top players in our class. Duan Zhengcheng should have been the second best player in the class, but Chen Mou and Chen Kai suddenly broke out before the college entrance examination and surpassed him in strength. Duan Zhengcheng was also open-minded and didn't care about it. I heard that Chu Xiaoxi went back to the Chu family, and Chen Kai went out to gain experience. And Yi Undun sat in a chair, the whole person was like an orchid in a valley. Chen Kai also got into Xinghe Academy, I'm so envious. Yet, originally Chen Kai was strong in actual combat and weak in written tests. I didn't expect him to perform well in actual combat and perform above his level in the written test. Chapter 208 Tang Jinglong. The monitor finally chose the Department of Political Science and Law of Kangshan University. It seems that he is going to pursue a career in politics in the future. Some classmates looked at Duan Zhengcheng. Duan Zhengcheng nodded slightly, I have this idea. I will be a brick in the country in the future and move wherever I am needed. Speaking of which, Duan Zhengcheng's ability is not bad, but it is a pity that he ranks 13th in the city in the college entrance examination, which cannot meet the admission standards of the 4 famous schools. The total number of enrollment places is fixed, And the college entrance examination actually requires a bit of luck. Who made Duan's Hengcheng happen to be in the strongest class of 3020? The competition is too fierce. If it were in other years, he would probably be able to get a place in the top 4. Dishes were served quickly, and everyone at the table toasted and ate very happily. They played until very late, and then left. Because of the 40% discount, the cost of this dinner was only 5,000 per person, and Chen Mou transferred the money to Duan's Hengcheng. Bought a new car. Chen Mou was reversing in the parking space, and Duan's Hengcheng suddenly passed by. Yet, Chen Mou nodded. This car is only 200,000 yuan, which is relatively ordinary among all the classmates, but considering Chen Mou's family background, it is surprising. Duan's Hengcheng pressed the remote control and unlocked his car. By the way, there is an exchange meeting tomorrow. The organizer is a friend of mine. I can bring 1 or 2 people there. Do you want to come? Exchange meeting. Chen Mou understood after a little thought. The participants of this exchange meeting are also young people, but considering Duan's Hengcheng's level, the status of the participants is estimated to be not low, and they are all dignitaries. I won't go. I wish you a good time. Chen Mou is not born to like to communicate with others. At most, he will attend a class reunion. He doesn't want to go to this kind of unfamiliar gathering. Come and join it. There is no harm anyway. Maybe you can meet a few friends. And I will go alone tomorrow. It seems a bit weak. You can support me. Duan's Hengcheng said enthusiastically. Then I will think about it and reply to you tonight. Okay. Duan's Hengcheng waved his hand and drove away. Seeing Duan's Hengcheng driving away in style, Chen Mou could only start the automatic driving mode silently. He didn't even have a driver's license, so he couldn't drive by himself. On the way home, Chen Mou also understood Duan's Hengcheng's good intentions. Chen Mou was admitted to Xinghua Academy, and his future was good, but because of his average family conditions and insufficient cultivation resources, he might not be able to go far, so Duan's Hengcheng wanted to introduce him to a few young masters of the family, and maybe he could get some help from them. You know, cultivation costs a lot of resources. The nutrient solution in the early stage is relatively cheap, only 2,000 per bottle. The more you want to increase the speed of cultivation, the more resources you have to spend, otherwise you can only rely on life to slowly endure. Not to mention the heaven-defying divine objects such as the enlightenment fruit, the price of the Mingshan flower alone is simply unaffordable for ordinary families. However, Chen Mou was at his richest, and he was not in a hurry for cultivation resources. Even if Chen Mou lacked resources, he didn't need help from others. Of course, Duan's Hengcheng said that he wanted Chen Mou to go and support him, and he did have some thoughts on this. After all, Chen Mou is now a student of Xinghua, and he was once the top scorer in the written test, so he is quite capable. Duan's Hengcheng has a high status, so others must be polite on the surface, but they may not buy it behind his back. After returning home and having dinner, Chen Mou played hopscotch with Xiaobei in the room. Xiaobei, Dad has a party tomorrow, but I can't take you with me. You don't mind, do you? Chen Mou asked tentatively. If Xiaobei didn't seem to be happy, he would not go and stay at home to accompany Xiaobei tomorrow. Xiaobei frowned and said unhappily, Dad, you go, I will stay at home obediently. Although he seemed reluctant, Chen Mou caught a hint of joy in Xiaobei's eyes. Chen Mou thought about it for a while and understood. Xiaobei must be dissatisfied with Chen Mou for keeping him at home every day and not letting him watch cartoons for too long. Chen Mou was going out now, and Xiaobei was happy to be free, but he still pretended to be reluctant. It seems that Xiaobei is not very happy, so I won't go tomorrow. Chen Mou looked like he was thinking about Xiaobei. It was too much? Xiaobei's face was bitter. Dad, you should go to the party. How can a well-behaved and sensible daughter delay your business? Chen Mou touched his chin and looked thoughtful, while Xiaobei looked nervous. Okay, I'll go out and play tomorrow. Xiaobei, you have to be good at home and take care of yourself. Xiaobei nodded quickly like a chicken pecking at rice. Also, you can't watch cartoons for too long. Xiaobei's face changed, and then he calmed down. Anyway, you're out, and you don't know how long I'll watch. Chen Mou sent a message to Duan's Hengcheng, saying that he would go to see it tomorrow. Since it's a holiday now, this is another good intention of Duan's Hengcheng, and Chen Mou plans to go out to change his mood. Haha, okay, I'll introduce you to some rich women then. Duan's Hengcheng teased. I don't want rich women, but do you have rich lolly? Chen Mou also made a rare joke. Duan's Hengcheng. I want this kind of thing, too, but I can't let you get it for free. The next day, Chen Mou came to a manor according to the address given by Duan's Hengcheng. Sorry to have kept you waiting for so long. Chen Mou saw Duan's Hengcheng waiting in front of the manor gate. It's okay, I just came here for 3 minutes and I don't dare to go in. I also want to pull you to support me, otherwise I can't control these young masters. Duan's Hengcheng laughed. Chen Mou shook his head slightly. Duan's Hengcheng's words were exaggerated. With his status, there were probably very few people who dared not to give him face. The manor was full of fragrant flowers and plants, rockery, and flowing water, and it was designed in a very stylish way. The two walked in along the path, and immediately many people greeted them enthusiastically. Mr. Duan is here. Hello, Mr. Duan. The expressions of these people were 3 parts enthusiastic, 3 parts fearful, and 4 parts respectful. Hello. Duan's Hengcheng also nodded and pointed to the side. This is my friend Chen Mou. Duan's Hengcheng only introduced Chen Mou to the other party, but did not introduce the other party's name to Chen Mou. Obviously, he did not know these people. They also noticed this, but did not dare to show an angry look at all, and still had a smile on their faces. A chubby fat man squeezed through the crowd and came over. Duan Xiao, long time no see, brother, I miss you very much. This man is 170 centimeters tall and weighs 170 kilograms. His fat body is extremely flexible, and his face shows an extremely excited look. Wait, stop, I don't know you very well. Duan's Hengcheng hurriedly stopped him and said to Chen Mou on the side, this man is called Tang Jinglong. He has a good family background, but he is very unreliable in doing things. He likes to invest everywhere, but he only relies on temporary interests and does not investigate, so he always fails. The key is that this guy has very bad luck and likes to fool his friends around him to invest together. Sometimes he invests in some projects that look promising, but ends up losing money. In short, stay away from him. Chapter 209, Investment Genius. Tang Jinglong was unhappy when he heard Duan's Hengcheng say this. Mr. Duan, I feel that the projects I chose are all very reliable, but in the end there are always some accidents. How can you blame me for this? I made a lot of money with my brothers in that project 2 months ago. Duan's Hengcheng curled his lips. You do make money sometimes, but you often make 1 million after losing 10 million. What's the use of this? By the way, Mr. Duan, I recently received a secret message that Changxing Mecha Company and Tongshin Mecha Group will join forces to carry out in-depth cooperation in the market. The senior management of both parties are now in close contact. This is big news and good news, so I plan to buy a large number of shares of Changxing Mecha Company recently. How about it? Are you interested in following? To be honest, our companies in Yonghui City are still a little bit behind these multinational giants. Seize the opportunity and make a little money behind the giants. Isn't it beautiful? Is there such a thing? Duan's Hengcheng fell into deep thought. You also think it's feasible? Tang Jinglong felt that Duan's Hengcheng must have been convinced by himself. This time, he must help Duan's Hengcheng make a fortune and deepen the relationship between the two. Then I think I have to buy a large amount of Haiyan Armor Company's stocks. Duan's Hengcheng made a judgment. This is not to go against Tang Jinglong, but according to past experience, going against Tang Jinglong often makes money. Tang Jinglong. Damn you, you don't trust me so much, and you go against me. Mr. Duan, you hurt my heart. My news is absolutely reliable, and most people don't know it. I revealed this news, isn't it for my brothers? Otherwise, how nice it would be for me to make a fortune in silence. I also feel that buying Haiyan Armor Company stocks is good, and it's basically a guaranteed profit. Chen Mou suddenly interrupted. Chen Mou didn't know that it was Haiyan Armor Company that bought his improvement results. But in the memory of the future, after a year of downturn, Haiyan Armor Company bottomed out and rebounded during this period, and the stock price slowly rose. In the following days, when Changxing Mecha Company and Tongshin Mecha Group were obsessed with competing for the market and engaging in marketing, Haiyan Armor Company settled down to engage in research and development, and successively launched several high-performance mechas, breaking through the blockade of many mecha companies in one fell swoop. So Chen Mou was more optimistic about Haiyan Armor Company, at least in the long run. This company is very stable. Who are you? Tang Jinglong glanced at Chen Mou with a little scrutiny. Duan's Hengcheng said, this is my classmate, Chen Mou. Chen Mou? Tang Jinglong thought about it and had never heard of such a person in the circle. He took a closer look at Chen Mou's clothes. He was wearing ordinary clothes, which seemed cheap to him. Pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger? This routine is not popular now. If you pretend too much, you will really become a pig. Tang Jinglong determined that this person's family background should be very ordinary, but with Duan's Heng Chang backing him up, he had to give him some face. Excuse me, brother, do you have any basis? Tang Jinglong looked at Chen Mou with a suspicious look. Changxing Mecha and Songshin Mecha have joined forces and will not play with Haiyan armor. You still dare to buy Haiyan armor stocks at this time? It's really bold. The market is so big, and these three companies are competitors. Tang Jinglong felt that this kid simply didn't understand the market. Maybe he has read the news for a few years and thinks he has a lot of high-sounding theories, but the news channels are really lacking. Base? Chen Mou shrugged. He couldn't say that he knew the future trend. There is no basis, just intuition. Tang Jinglong was amused. It turned out that he was the king of strong talk. Then are you going to buy Haiyan armor stocks? If an ordinary person said this, Tang Jinglong would have directly started to fight back. Seeing that he was Duan's Heng Cheng's friend, he asked euphemistically, which was actually ironic. I won't buy. Chen Mou knew that buying Haiyan armor stocks would make a steady profit, but it would not be profitable in a short time. In the future memory, Chen Mou did not pay too much attention to the stock market. He only vaguely remembered that the stock of Haiyan War Armor Company rose slowly within a year, and there were also drops during the period. Later, the company's technical research made a breakthrough and rose several times in a row, but Chen Mou was not sure on which day. In the final analysis, this investment is a sure win, but the money cannot be taken out in a short time after it is invested. It is okay to take it out, but the return is small. Chen Mou also plans to buy more spiritual fruits to impact the realm of Miracle Master, so there is no need to toss. If you really want to make money, you still have to do scientific research. Chen Mou has tasted the sweetness and is ready to come up with some new results next time. The price must be high, at least 50 million. Isn't it a sure win? Why don't you buy it? Tang Jinglong is more and more sure that this person has no ability, but loves to brag. How can Duan's Heng Chang have such a friend? I need to spend money recently and don't want to invest the money in the stock market. Chen Mou is a little impatient. This fat man talks too much nonsense. Tang Jinglong smiled. I don't have much spare money, but I am optimistic about the prospects of Changxing Mecha Company. I am ready to grit my teeth and invest 30 million to play with it. A thin man wearing a custom suit and a quartz watch on his wrist came forward. Fat Tang, are you really so optimistic about Changxing Mecha Company? How about it? Do you want to buy it with me? Tang Jinglong didn't mind others calling him by his nickname. Seeing that this person was interested, he immediately got excited. Duan Zhengcheng shook his head. Lu Hongyan, are you really going to invest with Fatty Tang? I'm afraid you won't know how you died. I won't say much. I believe in my classmates' judgment. Anyway, the money in my hand is idle. After this exchange meeting, I will go back and buy 10 million to play with it. Lu Hongyan's face changed, thinking of Tang Jinglong's reputation in the investment community. This person is known for perfectly avoiding the correct answer, and he loses everything he invests. And every time he has to pull a lot of people to invest together, under the pretext of making money together. Lu Hongyan hesitated. But this time Tang Jinglong had inside information, while Duan's Heng Chang's classmate only had a mouth, so it was obvious that Tang Jinglong was more reliable. Fatty Tang, let's talk. Is your information accurate? Lu Hongyan pulled Tang Jinglong aside to understand the situation. That's a must. How could I do something that would pit my brother? Looking at Lu Hongyan's departing back, Duan's Heng Chang smiled. I think you won't cry until you see the coffin. He immediately turned to look at Chen Mou and said, the venue is just in front. You go in and have some fun first. I'll go find my friends. Okay. Chen Mou and Duan's Heng Chang separated and went to the venue of the exchange meeting. Not far away, Chen Mou arrived at his destination. The gathering place was open air, with many tables and chairs placed on the open ground, and a huge swimming pool in the center. A group of well-dressed young people gathered in twos and threes, chatting and talking about everything. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210? I Don't Drink. In the venue, Chen Mou found an empty seat and sat down. The waiters came and went, carrying some fruit platters, juices, and spiritual fruits. Chen Mou ordered a glass of juice and leaned back leisurely to enjoy it. This time, he just wanted to relax, but he didn't plan to make any friends. Maybe in the eyes of ordinary people, these young masters and princesses are unattainable figures, but at this moment, Chen Mou didn't take them seriously. There should be a broader world in his life. Chen Mou's attitude of drinking by himself attracted some attention. After all, the meaning of this exchange meeting is to make some friends who get along well with each other in order to help each other. This kind of self-entertainment is rare. Hey, young Master Chen, why are you alone? Do you want to have a drink with us? Tang Jinglong came over with Lu Hongyan. Okay. Chen Mou raised the cup of juice. Tang Jinglong laughed. What's the point of drinking juice? Waiter, bring 2 glasses of red wine. I don't drink. Chen Mou didn't like alcohol, not because he was afraid that alcohol would harm his body. With his current cultivation, he was close to being immune to all poisons, but Chen Mou really didn't like the taste of alcohol. Who doesn't drink? Tang Jinglong took 2 glasses of red wine from the waiter's plate and smelled it. Good wine. This wine is not cheap. Come, cheers. I don't drink. Chen Mou still said these 4 words. He almost didn't drink a drop of alcohol, and only drank a little at the graduation party. At that time, the atmosphere was warm, and Chen Mou had to give everyone face, but Tang Jinglong was obviously not qualified. Tang Jinglong's face changed. This is a bit too disrespectful. As the saying goes, a sedan chair is carried by people. If you don't give me face, then I don't have to give you face. I dare not offend Duan's Hengcheng, but who are you? Tang Jinglong fell silent, took a sip of red wine in his right hand, and handed the red wine in his left hand to Chen Mou. Chen Mou did not take it, and the scene was deadlocked, and a weird atmosphere was spreading. The people around also noticed this situation, and they all cast playful eyes. If an ordinary person encountered this situation, he would definitely take the red wine to ease the tense atmosphere. But Chen Mou said he would not drink it, just pretending that everyone's eyes did not exist, and took a few sips of the glass of juice. Chen Mou was not afraid that offending people would cause trouble to Duan's Hengcheng. Before coming, Duan's Hengcheng said that he would let Chen Mou come to help support him. In fact, with Duan's Hengcheng's status and position, no one dared to disrespect him, so there was no way to say that he supported him. The purpose of Duan's Hengcheng's coming this time was probably to establish his authority, intimidate everyone, and establish his prestige. Duan's Hengcheng thought very simply that he might not be able to calm the situation alone, so he called friends and brothers. Attack the sand with passion and fight on the battlefield. If you are a brother, come and cut me. Chen Mou had to satisfy his wish. The 2 of them were in a stalemate, and the atmosphere on the field slowly turned from weird to oppressive. People around them gradually felt a little uncomfortable, but Chen Mou still looked calm. The princess of the Yan family is here. Someone shouted in the field, breaking the oppressive atmosphere. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and looked in the direction of the voice, only to see Yan Huale, whose red skirt was as red as fire, lightly moving her lotus steps, and coming slowly. Those who were eating and playing cards all stood up and nodded to Yan Huale. As the daughter of the richest man, Yan Huale's status and position are very special, and many people want to make friends with her. Even if they can't make friends with her, they can't offend her. Miss Yan. Tang Jinglong took the opportunity to take back the wine glass and greeted Yan Huale. Yan Huale's eyes swept over. Fatty Tang, what money-losing tricks have you come up with recently? Tang Jinglong's face was a little embarrassed. What money-losing tricks? All my projects are reliable. I was just unlucky before. Miss Yan is joking. He said he was going to buy shares of Chengxing Mecha. Chen Mou suddenly interrupted. Tang Jinglong glared at Chen Mou angrily, asking you to stop talking. Yan Huale then noticed that Chen Mou was also present, stepped forward, pulled out a chair, and sat down opposite Chen Mou. Brother, what a coincidence. It's a coincidence, and it's inevitable. Chen Mou's eyes dropped slightly. Yan Huale happened to come, and Chen Mou also happened to come. This is a coincidence. After receiving the invitation, Yan Huale chose to come, and Chen Mou also chose to come. The meeting of these 2 people is actually a kind of inevitability. If Chen Mou chose not to come, would there be no coincidence? In fact, There are not so many coincidences in the world. Everything is the result of one's own choice. Chen Mou does not believe in coincidences or fate. These things are too imaginary. The universe is indeed random, and many things are doing irregular movements. It is a random complex. It's just that some of these creatures have born intelligence and subjective initiative. Irregular movements are controlled by will, and from then on they become regular. At this time, human beings hold their fate in their hands. A thoughtful look flashed across Haiyan Jue's eyes, and then he smiled. There seems to be some charm in what my senior brother said. Tang Jinglong next to him was stunned. This kid is not only Duan's Heng Chang's classmate, but also knows Haiyan Jue. What is his background? However, when I think about it, these three people are all studying in Yonghua High School, so it is not surprising that they know each other. But it is hard to say how deep their friendship is. Looking at the conversation between Haiyan Jue and him, it is estimated that they are just casual acquaintances. Haiyan Jue ended the chat with Chen Mou and looked at Tang Jinglong. Fatty Tang, are you really going to buy shares of Chengxing Mecha? Of course, I personally think that Chengxing Mecha has a bright future, and I have exclusive information. If Miss Yan wants to know, I can provide it for free. Tang Jinglong nodded proudly. That's fine. I don't dare to buy the shares of Chengxing Mecha. Don't you know that Chengxing Mecha and Haiyan War Armor are fighting each other to death? Tang Jinglong was puzzled. So what? How could Haiyan War Armor possibly defeat the combination of Chengxing Mecha and Songshan Mecha? Haiyan Jue was speechless. There were secret channels and exclusive news. You should go and see the public news first. You are hopeless. Haiyan Jue shook his head and sighed. Hearing this, Tang Jinglong was unhappy again. Haha, everyone is not optimistic about me, but I have to go against the will of heaven. I will prove to you who is the real investment wizard. His heart was surging and full of ambition. At this time, a series of slightly surprised voices pulled Tang Jinglong out of his thoughts. Young Master Yi. Young Master Yi is here too. Young Master Yi, which young Master Yi? Tang Jinglong was a little annoyed. Which fool was disturbing me? Turning his head to look, he swallowed the unhappy words. In the middle of the road, a tall man in a black shirt walked slowly. His eyes were very sharp, like two knives that could pierce through people. Yizu Iao? Why is he here? Tang Jinglong swallowed. Chapter 211? Sorry, I can't do it. Although the two are about the same age, Yizu Iao has achieved much more than Tang Jinglong. Tang Jinglong has become a joke in the circle for his reputation as an investment genius, while Yizu Iao has always been a role model. Young Master Yi. Seeing Yizu Iao coming over here, Tang Jinglong hurriedly greeted him. It's Fatty Tang, what are the money-losing projects recently? Yizu Iao's sharp eyes made people dare not look directly at him. Young Master Yi is joking. Tang Jinglong said with some difficulty, I heard that young Master Yi has broken through to the high level of Miracle Apprentice for some time. I believe that the day of breaking through to Miracle Master is not far away. He has a bright future. Haha, I'm already a junior this year. It's normal to break through to the high level of Miracle Apprentice. It's nothing great. As for Miracle Master, I will strive to break through to this level before graduating from my senior year. Yizu Iao said modestly, but there was a flash of pride in his eyes. The people around were amazed when they heard it. Young Master Yi has a promising future. Brother Yi is so talented. I heard that Brother Yi is studying at Bixun University. This is one of the 4 famous schools, and it is natural for him to have such an achievement. Tang Jinglong on the side was very emotional. Among the 4 famous schools, there are no ordinary people who can study in such a school. The competition during the college entrance examination is too fierce. What surprised him even more was that Yizu Iao said that he would break through to the realm of Miracle Master before graduation. Miracle apprentices are still apprentices after all, while Miracle Masters have a word master. This master means master or grandmaster. Once you break through to the realm of Miracle Master, your status and position will be very different. Like many wealthy people in Yonghua City, they will look up to the geniuses in the city, but they will only look up to them. If this genius breaks through to the realm of Miracle Master, it will be very different, and he can be on equal terms with the wealthy. After all, Miracle Masters control wind and thunder with their hands, and have the power to manipulate the destiny and change fate against the will of heaven. Tang Jinglong was very envious. Breaking through to the realm of Miracle Master at the age of 20-something seemed almost dreamy to him. Little brother, can we change seats? Yizu Iao came over and said to Chen Mou. He used a negotiating tone, but Chen Mou heard a hint of dominance in it. Yan Huil frowned on the side. Yizuiao wanted to change seats with Chen Mou, obviously for himself. The two had just met not long ago. As soon as they met, Yizuiao was shocked by Yan Huil and started to pursue him passionately. To be honest, Yizuiao's conditions were not bad. He was handsome and talented. In terms of family background, the Yi family was not much worse than the Yan family. This condition was naturally like a male god in the eyes of ordinary women, but Yan Huil still didn't take it seriously. The most important requirement of Yan Huil for his future partner was that he must have the courage to sweep the world and the mind to swallow up the 8 wildernesses. Although Yizuiao had good talent, in Yan Huil's view, he was not as good as himself and lacked a kind of domineering, which obviously did not meet the requirements. Chen Mou was still motionless on the seat. Yizuiao frowned. Is this man deaf? He dared to ignore his words. In the past, no one dared to not give him face. Brother, can you make way? Yizuiao repeated. You can sit next to me, there is still room. Chen Mou said lightly. Yan Huil watched the performance of the two with interest. Chen Mou dared to go against Yizuiao's intention, which Yan Huil did not expect. Tang Jinglong's face was full of sarcasm. This man's brain is probably a bit bad. He thinks that he can be fearless by relying on the identity of Duan Zhengcheng's friend? It's really funny. I, Tang Jinglong, need to give Duan Zhengcheng face and dare not be presumptuous, but it does not mean that Yizuiao has to give Duan Zhengcheng face. Yizuiao's eyes flashed coldly. Of course I know there is still room next to me, but I want to sit opposite Yan Huil. Can you make way? Sorry, I can't do it. Chen Mou raised his cup and took a sip of juice. Yizuiao's face was angry, his body did not move, but a momentum suddenly burst out from him and pressed towards Chen Mou. Chen Mou suddenly turned his head, and his momentum also burst out. The two momentums collided and impacted, making a hissing sound, and a balance was formed faintly. A trace of red flashed across Yan Huil's face, and she felt the pressure. Her current strength is still at the beginner level, which is quite a gap compared to the two. However, Yan Huil is confident that the day of breaking through to the miracle apprentice is not too far away. It is estimated that it will not take long to break through after the start of the next semester. Chen Mou and Yizuiao were tit for tat. Tang Jinglong and Lu Hongyan next to them could not bear the pressure and hurriedly stepped away. Noticing the movement here, the people around cast shocked eyes. Who is this person? He can actually share the same level with Yizuiao. Yizuiao was also a little surprised. It seems that he underestimated you. He took a step forward and his momentum rose again. However, Chen Mou's momentum also increased, and he was still on par with him. What's going on? Duan Zhengcheng walked over from a distance, and a person next to him walked side by side with him. That was Wen Jingshan, the organizer of this exchange meeting. Yizuiao slowly retracted his momentum and looked at Duan Zhengcheng. Mr. Duan, is this your friend? Duan Zhengcheng said, yes, what happened? Did Mr. Yi have a little conflict with him? Yizuiao laughed. Mr. Duan, your friend is very arrogant. People with ability are indeed more arrogant. Duan Zhengcheng heard the sarcasm in Yizuiao's words, and naturally did not show weakness. I discussed with your friend with good intentions, but he didn't give me any face at all. I need an explanation for this matter. Yizuiao stared at Duan Zhengcheng, his eyes like two knives. What explanation do you want? He must apologize. After the apology, for Mr. Duan's sake, this matter will be over. Chen Mou, what do you think? Duan Zhengcheng looked at Chen Mou. Chen Mou raised his glass and drank the last sip of juice. What's the point of apologizing? Listen, I think it makes sense. What's the point of apologizing? Duan Zhengcheng said. Yizuiao narrowed his eyes slightly. I can see clearly that you want to establish your authority over me today. Others are afraid of you, Duan Zhengcheng, but I am not. The Duan family is very strong, but my Yi family also has connections in the province and has made friends with many bigwigs. Tang Jinglong was on the sidelines, and he didn't dare to say a word. Now it's a fight between gods, and if you get involved accidentally, you will die. When two tigers fight, if you stay away, you will just sit on the mountain and watch the fight. If you stay closer, I'm afraid you will be the first to be torn apart. But Duan Zhengcheng's behavior was not wise in Tang Jinglong's opinion. To establish prestige, You must choose the right target, and Yizu Iao is not someone Duan's Heng Chang can suppress, no matter his identity or strength. With the strength of the miracle apprentice Duan, who can stop him? Okay, since that's the case, I'll challenge you to a duel now. Do you dare to accept it? Yizu Iao pointed at Chen Mou. Everyone was surprised. They didn't expect that a good exchange meeting could actually lead to a conflict, but then they showed a playful smile on their faces again. There was a good show to watch. Chapter 212 Fang Xian wants to show his loyalty. Yizu Iao was not obsessed with right or wrong, but asked for a duel. Whether Chen Mou refused or accepted and was severely defeated by him, it was a shameful ending. It was a dignified conspiracy, but you had no way to deal with it. This was the confidence brought by strength. When Jingshan, the organizer of the exchange meeting, stepped forward to smooth things over, it's just a small matter. There's no need to make such a big fuss. Why not make a big thing small and a small thing small? Let's sit down and have a drink and let it go. How about that? Jingshan, I usually give you face, but this matter, not possible. Yizu Iao's attitude was very tough. Chen Mou said, I don't drink. This. Yizu Iao's tough attitude was fine. Chen Mou's temper was also so big. When Jingshan looked at Duan's Hengcheng, wanting him to persuade the two. In his opinion, Chen Mou was not Yizu Iao's opponent at all. Isn't this self-humiliation? Duan's Hengcheng shook his head. He didn't understand Chen Mou's current strength, but he knew Chen Mou's character. This old classmate never did anything he was not sure of. If he didn't have the confidence, how could Chen Mou be so arrogant? But Yizu Iao was a high-level miracle apprentice, and Chen Mou was not afraid at all. How fast has his strength improved? Duan Zhengcheng felt that he still underestimated Chen Mou. I accept your duel request. Chen Mou stood up. What tricks do you have? Use them all. You think I am using you to establish my authority, but you also wanted to use me as a scapegoat at the beginning. Chen Mou's eyes flashed coldly. When Yizu Iao asked him to change his position at the beginning, although he used a negotiating tone, it contained a domineering meaning. Although it was a negotiation, the position must be given up. There are always people who think that the whole world revolves around them, and Chen Mou likes to slap such people in the face the most. The atmosphere in the field became tense again, and the battle was about to break out. Yan Huil looked at the two with interest, and felt that Chen Mou had refreshed his cognition. The fuse of this conflict was Yan Huil, but in fact, if you think deeply, this matter has little to do with Yan Huil, it is a deeper level of struggle. Both sides have to show their majesty. The two were facing each other, and everyone held their breath. You could hear a pin drop. At this moment, the waiter at the entrance suddenly shouted, "Mr. Fang is here. Who is so ignorant that he comes now?" Everyone looked at him angrily. One person was about to scold, but when he saw the newcomer, he swallowed his words. Another person who can't be provoked. Fang Xian, the eldest son of the Fang family. It is said that this person was admitted to Xinghua Academy and his cultivation has improved by leaps and bounds. More importantly, many people have received news that Fang Xian has been appreciated by a tutor at Xinghua Academy and will be vigorously cultivated in the coming days. This tutor is a scholar of the law. If he comes to Yanghui City, countless bigwigs will go to greet him. In addition, the Fang family is originally a big family in Yanghui City. It is in the limelight and few people dare to provoke it. What's going on? Fang Xian saw a group of people standing up and gathered together from a distance. This is completely different from the party atmosphere he imagined. He strode forward, ready to join in the fun. Fang Xian had already cultivated to the middle stage of the miracle apprentice. He was completely trembling and was not afraid of anyone. You have to know that he is only a freshman now. This talent is undoubtedly extremely high. When he got closer, he finally saw the appearance of the two people confronting each other on the field. Fang Xian couldn't help but froze. How come I can meet Chen Mou here? Huh? Chen Mou also looked over. Huh, another enemy has come. Chen Mou hasn't seen Fang Xian for a long time, but he will not forget the repeated provocations of this person. It seems that today he will have to go on a killing spree. Brother Mou, what a coincidence, I can meet you here. Fang Xian squeezed out a flattering smile. Chen Mou led the demon ape away in the secret realm and indirectly saved his life. Fang Xian was also grateful. He swore at that time that if he met Chen Mou again in the future, he would retreat. That would have been fine, but later Chen Mou did a series of earth-shattering things, defeating Zhou Dayan and Huang Fuzan, and completely solidifying his title as the best among the freshmen. Fang Xian even heard that Chen Mou went to Mingdao University and easily beat up several freshmen. Although the school was excited, no one dared to challenge him in the end. So Fang Xian became more and more in awe of Chen Mou. This kind of talent was simply beyond his ability to resist. Compared with the other party, his achievements were nothing. It's a coincidence, but it's also inevitable. The smile on Chen Mou's lips made Fang Xian feel creepy. Fang Xian felt that he had to jump out to show his loyalty. Brother Mou, what happened? Is this kid provoking you? Don't worry, I'll be the first to stand up and support you. Chen Mou was a little confused. He didn't expect Fang Xian to behave like this. What conspiracy was he playing? Yizuiao was so angry that his nose was crooked. In the past, Fang Xian would call him Brother Yao when he saw him. Now he's really arrogant and actually calls him this kid. Okay. Yizuiao laughed in anger and shouted 3 good words in a row. Yan Huel was even more surprised and re-evaluated Chen Mou's strength in his heart. The strength of the Fang family is not as good as that of the Yan family, but the gap is not big. Fang Xian is even more famous for his arrogance. Such an arrogant person at ordinary times, when he saw Chen Mou, he was like a mouse seeing a cat. Tang Jinglong's head shrank. This scene was really a fight between gods. Now even a pig can see that Chen Mou is not simple. He can only pray silently that the other party will not bear his grudge. Yizuiao, as a former brother, I will remind you of friendship. Don't go against Brother Mou. If you have any grudges, sit down, have a drink, apologize and it's over. Fang Xian advised earnestly. As he said that, he looked at Chen Mou and said flatteringly, Brother Mou, what do you think? Yizuiao was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Fang Xian, you want me to apologize to him? Is he worthy? In the circle of young masters in Yonghui City, no one has ever heard of Chen Mou. It is estimated that he is just a boy with ordinary background and some strength, who was pulled out by Duan's Heng Chang to be a thug. Why? Yizuiao, don't think that your family has a little relationship with the Lin family, so you can be so arrogant. The big man you met is just from the side branch of the Lin family. Brother Mou has a deep friendship with the eldest princess of the Lin family. Fang Xian laughed sarcastically. Fang Xian was talking about Lin Sichen. This woman has unparalleled beauty, but her attitude towards the people around her has always been cold, except when facing Chen Mou, her attitude is better. The faces of the people around changed at the same time. The world is so big, there are many families with the surname Lin, but the only Lin family that is worth being singled out by Fang Xian is probably the Hall of Fame family. Chapter 213 Whoever disagrees, come out. Yizuiao's face changed slightly. Chen Mou, this kid, has such a deep relationship? Looking at Fang Xian's attitude, this doesn't seem to be a lie, otherwise why would he please so much? This dog thing that changes with the wind, changes his face really quickly. I don't know what Lin family is. I am just challenging them as an individual, and the other party has accepted it. Yizuiao calmed down and said lightly. Everyone was surprised. They didn't expect Yizuiao to still force his move and not even give the Lin family face. Chen Mou might be in trouble now? Yan Huel also showed a trace of worry. She wanted to stand up and persuade a few words, but finally gave up. She felt that she could feel absolute confidence from Chen Mou, which was an attitude of treating the other party like an ant. Fang Xian sneered again and again, looking like a villain. So much nonsense, make a move. Chen Mou's posture was as straight as a javelin, and there seemed to be a flash of lightning in his eyes. Take it. Yizuiao shouted in a low voice, and his aura burst out. A vague shadow rose from behind him and gradually covered his whole body. This shadow had a wolf head and a human body, covered with armor, holding a battle axe, and a layer of dark flames all over his body. The faint light in his eyes was shining, which made people feel shocked. This is Yizuiao's demon wolf bloodthirsty art. After practicing it successfully, you can summon the shadow of the demon wolf, which can attack or defend. Those with slightly weaker strength can't even break the defense of the demon wolf. One person said with shocked eyes. Unexpectedly, Yizuiao revealed his trump card as soon as he made a move. This was not giving his opponent any chance to survive. Yan Huil had tried to stay away from the center of the battle between the two, but still felt an extreme threat from the shadow of the demon wolf. Yizuiao was probably the strongest among the participants present. Could Chen Mou really deal with it? Before the battle began, the two had already opened up a distance of 4 or 5 meters, but Yuzuiao burst out, like a lone wolf, and launched a fierce hunting, approaching Chen Mou in an instant. Yuzuiao's fist suddenly hit out. The shadow of the demon wolf chopped with an axe, and the wolf head attacked at the same time, biting Chen Mou fiercely. The situation was extremely critical with 3 sides attacking. It's over. Seeing that Chen Mou did not dodge and was completely seized by Yuzuiao, many people had this thought in their minds. At the critical moment, 2 cold lightnings suddenly pierced Chen Mou's eyes. Mental shock. Yuzuiao's body was still moving forward by inertia, but at this moment his whole body was stiff and out of control. Chen Mou suddenly kicked up, and Yuzuiao flew back at a faster speed than when he came, breaking several tables for the party in succession. This still couldn't stop the power of Chen Mou's kick. Yuzuiao fell to the ground, plowing a long mark, and finally stopped, wow, and spit out a mouthful of blood. It's just so-so. Chen Mou was a little disappointed. This strength was not as good as Sumo. Sumo was shocked by Chen Mou's fist that day, but he recovered quickly. Yuzuiao shouted fiercely, but his mind was captured by a look. The whole audience was shocked and couldn't believe what they saw. Most people thought that Yuzuiao had a sure win. A small number of people thought that Chen Mou was so confident that he might have a chance to win, but they never thought that it would be so easy to win. It's just teasing a child. Someone murmured. Tang Jinglong turned pale and thought of the provocation to Chen Mou just now. Yan Huel opened her red lips slightly, and her face was full of astonishment. Only Fang Xian did not look surprised at all, and shook his head gently. Oh, Brother Yao, I forgot to remind you just now that Brother Mou has a strong background and is also very good at fighting. Who else is dissatisfied? Come out. Chen Mou glanced at the whole audience, and no one dared to look at him. Yuzuiao stood up with difficulty, with a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth and his clothes torn in several places. Chen Mou still held back. After all, it was not a deep hatred, and Yuzuiao was not seriously injured. A person who was familiar with him gritted his teeth, hesitated for a few times, and stepped forward to support Yuzuiao. It takes a lot of courage to dare to step forward under the pressure of Chen Mou at this time. Yuzuiao nodded to him, then bowed to Chen Mou and Duan's Heng Cheng and said, "Today I know that there are people beyond people, and there are heavens beyond heavens. I am defeated." After the words fell, he turned and walked out. Yuzuiao's departure also announced that he was defeated in this contest. Many people's eyes flashed. Duan's Heng Cheng was originally powerful, and he had such a cruel friend. It seemed that he had to re-evaluate his strength. In fact, Chen Mou was strong, but he was still only at the level of miracle apprentice. With a family of these people, they had no fear of ordinary miracle apprentices. But Chen Mou is too young, and his talent is ridiculously high. Maybe he will rise to the level of a miracle master after practicing for another year or 2, and in the future, he will have the hope of reaching the level of a law scholar. If such a person cannot be killed immediately, it is better to make friends with him, otherwise at least he should not interfere with him. As for what Fang Xian said about Chen Mou's relationship with the Lin family, it is not known whether it is true or not, but it cannot be ignored. When Jingshan stood up and smiled reluctantly, "Everyone, the exchange meeting will continue. A little conflict, don't affect your mood." Then he ordered a few waiters to clean up the table that was broken by Yuzuiao. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and sat back in their original seats. Chen Mou also returned to his seat. Some people wanted to come forward to say hello and build relationships, but when they saw that Yan Huel was opposite Chen Mou, they knew better than to disturb him and went to make friends with Duan's Heng Cheng instead. The banquet continued, and dishes were served by the waiters. The variety was very rich, and there was a lot of spiritual beast meat, which was full of fragrance. A group of girls came to the center of the venue, twisting their bodies lightly, dancing like butterflies. Yan Huel looked at Chen Mou, who was holding a piece of spirit beast meat with a calm expression, and sighed, "Brother, your strength is really amazing. It seems that you are the one who hides the most. I never thought about hiding my strength, but there is no need to show it deliberately." Chen Mou stuffed the meat into his mouth and chewed it. Fang Xian came forward without any expression, pulled out a chair next to him and sat down. Brother Mou is just trying out his skills. The strength he has shown now is less than 1/5 of it. What? Yan Huel's surprise was difficult to describe in words, and he felt a little disappointed at the same time. Yan Huel always felt that his talent was one of the best in Yanghui City, and it was hard to meet an opponent. Unexpectedly, he met someone today who he felt difficult to catch up with. As for Chiu Xiaoxi, although she has always been Yan Hui's target, she is not from Yanghui City, but from the Chiu family. Miss Yan, don't be too depressed. Fang Xian comforted, Brother Mu has swept through Xinghua Academy and is unrivaled. He's known as the best among the freshmen. It is natural that he has such strength. Chapter 214. I can fly. Come to think of it, I haven't settled accounts with you yet. Chen Mou looked at Fang Xian, his eyes carrying an invisible pressure. Fang Xian smiled awkwardly, Brother Mu, I have turned over a new leaf. That time you saved us selflessly in the secret realm, I was deeply moved by your spirit. Here, I sincerely apologize to you. You turned over a new leaf. Chen Mou couldn't believe his ears. How could a villain turn over a new leaf? Chen Mou wanted to teach him a lesson, but suddenly heard the news. He felt a little embarrassed to do it. It was really bad news. Chen Mou was a little unhappy. After the party, Chen Mou said goodbye to Duan's Heng Cheng and returned home. As soon as he entered the room, he saw Xiaobei sitting in front of the computer, watching intently. Xiaobei, don't watch it for too long, get up and exercise. Xiaobei looked obviously flustered. Dad, why are you back so soon? It seems that there is no cartoon to watch again. Xiaobei is so worried. This party didn't last too long. Chen Mou said. Xiaobei stood up reluctantly and picked up a small barbell to exercise. Xiaobei lifted the 20-kilogram barbell with one hand and played with it without any pressure. After the exercise, I will continue to watch cartoons. 5 minutes later, Xiaobei sat back in his seat. If you keep watching like this, you will become nearsighted. Chen Mou picked up Xiaobei and walked towards the balcony, ready to let Xiaobei see the lake and mountain scenery. Why should I be afraid of myopia if I can practice? I have never heard of mystics being nearsighted. Xiaobei pouted. But it felt good to be held by Chen Mou, and Xiaobei did not resist. Xiaobei's words reminded Chen Mou, and he thought about it and said, Xiaobei, how about I teach you to practice? Chen Mou felt that he needed to respond to the country's call to start education from childhood. It is said that many children of the Hall of Fame families have laid the foundation since childhood and have a solid foundation. Maybe the speed of practice in the early stage is not fast, but the practice in the later stage is smooth. The strength grows rapidly, and there are fewer bottlenecks, and the breakthrough is very smooth. Due to family conditions, Chen Mou started practicing late, only in junior high school, while children from large families usually start to lay the foundation in elementary school. Is it hard to practice? Xiaobei asked. Of course it is hard to practice. Chen Mou thought of the countless hardships he had suffered since he started practicing. Especially before he got the sea swallow secret. After getting the sea swallow secret, the situation improved a little, but he still practiced hard every day. If you want to be a superior person, it will be hard. Xiaobei shook his head, then I won't learn it. When he heard that it was hard, Xiaobei lost interest. Isn't it good to watch cartoons? Why do you have to practice stupidly? Although it is hard, after you succeed in practicing, you can be as powerful as your father. Chen Mou tempted. Xiaobei touched his chin, looking a little moved. Chen Mou decided to strike while the iron was hot, holding Xiaobei and jumping out directly from the balcony. Two black air currents gathered behind Chen Mou, gradually solidified, and formed a pair of huge wings. Just soaring over the community. What the hell? Who is this great god? A passerby saw this scene and his eyes widened. Just when he wanted to take out his phone to take a picture, Chen Mou's figure gradually rose and he couldn't take a clear picture at all. Oh, flying. Xiaobei didn't show any fear of heights, and his face was full of excitement. Not long after, Chen Mou took Xiaobei back to the balcony. How about it? As long as you keep practicing, one day you will be able to fly freely like me. Chen Mou felt that Xiaobei should not be able to resist the temptation of flying. But Dad, I can fly now. Xiaobei said childishly. As the words fell, Xiaobei's body gradually floated in the air. What the hell? Chen Mou was stunned. Xiaobei rolled in the air for a few circles, and then fell into Chen Mou's arms again. In the end, Xiaobei still didn't plan to practice, and Chen Mou's parenting plan failed again. Chen Mou stayed at home for a while and accompanied his parents. During this period, he also took time to visit teacher Zheng. After practicing the secret of immortality, Zheng Xingtang recovered well, and some hidden injuries that lasted for a long time gradually disappeared. According to Zhang Xingteng, he now has the confidence to impact the realm of the saint. However, this is not something that can be done in a short time. After all, the realm of a saint is too difficult, not to mention that Zhang Xingteng's injuries have not yet healed completely. In fact, Zhang Xingteng was extremely talented and was considered to have great hope of becoming a saint at the time. Unfortunately, he was surrounded and killed by alien forces, and his life was almost lost, and he was also injured. On February 5th, Chen Mou took Xiaobei back to Xinghua Academy. Before leaving, Xiaobei said goodbye to Chen Jianai and Chen Ziuyan, mainly because he missed the big chicken legs at home. But Xiaobei finally chose to follow Chen Mou back to school. It's not time for school to start yet. Chen Mou came back early, and the whole school was deserted. Walking on the avenue of the campus, a gust of cold wind blew, making people feel a little cool. A few leaves fell, fluttering, lying on the ground, rolling a few times before finally stopping. "Dad?" Xiaobei shook Chen Mou's hand, hinting with his eyes. "Are you hungry?" Chen Mou took Xiaobei into the cafeteria. During the holiday, many windows in the cafeteria were closed, but some windows were still open. Chen Mou ordered more than a dozen dishes and ate them with Xiaobei with relish. When they returned to the dormitory, it was empty. Chen Mou stayed in the dormitory for a while, tidied up the room, and went out to the commercial district. After the students left school, the commercial district became a little quieter. "Do you have Mingxian flowers?" Chen Mou walked into a store that sold spiritual fruits. "Sorry, we don't have them here." "Do you have Mingxian flowers?" Chen Mou changed another store. "Sorry, no." "Do you have Mingxian flowers?" He changed another store. "Sorry, no." Chen Mou scratched his head. Why are there no products for sale everywhere? It's not something as high-end as the enlightenment fruit. The boss was a little speechless. "This thing is about 10 million per plant. It's hard for me to sell this kind of goods with my small business. Or you can go to the free trade market and see if anyone is selling it." So Chen Mou went to the free trade market not far away, but it was a deserted scene now, and few people were setting up stalls to sell goods. He looked around and didn't find what he wanted. "Forget it, there's no rush for now. I want to buy a Mingxian flower to impact the realm of a miracle worker, but my current realm is still a little short. Even with a Mingxian flower, I can't break through." Chen Mou turned and went back to the dormitory. A day passed peacefully. The next day, Chen Mou went to the simulation room, connected to the virtual battlefield, and trained to strengthen his mental strength. As night fell, Chen Mou fell into deep sleep. Late at night, Chen Mou suddenly opened his eyes, his heart throbbed, and he felt a dangerous breath. Chapter 215? Assassination of Chen Mou. Looking out the window, a flash of lightning flashed by, illuminating the nearby sky. Something is wrong. Chen Mou picked up the soul-severing sword next to him and pushed Xiaobei next to him. After practicing the sea swallow art, Chen Mou could sense any movement and gained a strange sense of perception, which could predict the upcoming danger. "Dad, what's the matter?" Xiaobei was sleeping soundly and was a little upset when he was suddenly woken up. The sense of crisis became stronger and stronger. Before Chen Mou could answer, he immediately pressed an alarm device in the room. This device can only be pressed when encountering an extremely urgent situation. If you press it randomly for no reason, you will be severely punished by school rules. The door broke open, and a dark shadow jumped out and instantly stabbed 3 inches in front of Chen Mou. With the light coming in from the window, Chen Mou saw a soft sword stabbing at him at a very fast speed. Fast, too fast. Indescribable speed. The piercing murderous intent seemed to freeze people's souls. The magic dragon burning blood technique was running quickly, and Chen Mou raised the soul-severing sword and held it across his chest to block. It was just a soft sword attacking, but Chen Mou seemed to be hit by a huge force and was slapped against the wall. After a successful attack, he never gave anyone a chance to breathe. The black figure slashed in succession, and the sword was like a spirit snake spitting out its tongue, and each move was fatal. Chen Mou's chest had another bloody mark, and the wound was deep enough to see the bone. Chen Mou's black energy condensed, summoning the magic armor, and at the same time bursting with speed, dodging repeatedly, but the black figure was like a thorn in the bone, following him like a shadow. "Dad, I'll help you," Xiaobei shouted, and suddenly jumped onto Chen Mou's back. Chen Mou woke Xiaobei up, and wanted to tell her to find a chance to escape if she encountered any changes, but before he could open his mouth, The black figure had already killed him. Xiaobei jumped behind Chen Mou, but did not become a burden. A heat flow came from behind Chen Mou, and Haiyan Jue was running at twice the original speed. The magic dragon burning blood technique was amplified, and the blood rushed like a torrent. Chen Mou felt that his whole body was full of surging power, but unfortunately he still could not overcome the huge gap with the black figure. The sword light roamed like a dragon, and one sword could almost kill gods and immortals. This is the sword art of extinction. Chen Mou raised the soul-slaying sword and blocked continuously. The magic armor could not withstand the sword moves of this man. More bloodstains burst out from Chen Mou's chest, and his arms were also covered with scars. He couldn't fight hard, the gap was too big. Chen Mou held the soul-slaying sword and had the power of Xiaobei. His current strength could even suppress Huang Fuzan, a miracle master at the first stage, but he had almost no power to fight back in front of the black shadow. The black shadow pierced through Chen Mou's chest with a sword, as fast as lightning and thunder, and pierced Chen Mou's chest completely with a sneer, and also pierced Xiaobei behind him. The light and shadow changed, and Chen Mou and Xiaobei, who were penetrated, disappeared from the spot. Chen Mou had come to the window, broke the window directly, and jumped out. This was a secret art of shape-shifting that Chen Mou practiced, which was used to save his life at a critical moment. Facing the goddess of order that day, Chen Mou had no power to resist at all, and it was really unpleasant. After Chen Mou came back, he studied several life-saving methods very carefully. However, with his current realm, even if he used secret techniques, it would be difficult for him to escape from the hands of the goddess of order. Rapidly improving strength is the key. While escaping, Chen Mou secretly called Haiyan, hoping that it could revive and help him, but he did not get any response. This thing is not reliable either. The black shadow flashed again and again, chasing like thunder, and the distance between the two quickly closed. Chen Mou gritted his teeth and ran wildly. The black airflow condensed, turned into wings, and flew while running. The opponent was simply a ruthless killing machine, and he would not return until he killed Chen Mou. It is said that villains die because of talking too much, but this is worse than not saying a word, and it is impossible to delay time. A stronger murderous aura burst out from behind him, and a wave of lore rose. The killing thoughts were like a tide, and the sword was in chaos. The black figure also realized that it was very likely to be exposed now, and it was necessary to fight quickly, because there were masters everywhere in Xinghua Academy. The piercing sword energy came from behind, completely locking Chen Mou. The power of this sword was far beyond what he had just seen. How dare you commit a crime in Xinghua Academy? Two figures in the distance shot out like arrows, crossing an endless distance in a breath. But distant water cannot save nearby fires, and the black figure has already approached behind Chen Mou. Close at hand, everyone is the enemy. Chen Mou slightly twisted his body, deflected Xiaobei's figure to the side, and avoided the long sword. Blood surged, Chen Mou was pierced through, and the long sword came out from his chest. This time it was not the secret art of shape-shifting. Looking for death? Two figures in the distance have arrived in front, one of them stretched out a palm, and two large handprints condensed by the law grabbed the black figure. The black figure suddenly burned all over and turned into ashes in an instant. Even the soft sword in Chen Mou's chest turned into flying ashes. Two figures quickly landed and revealed their figures. One was Kong Dexiao and the other was Li Xingming. Kong Dexiao had white hair and wrinkles all over his face, showing an old look, no longer as energetic as before. Li Xingming was still strong and powerful, and stretched out a palm towards Chen Mou, with life energy permeating and stabilizing Chen Mou's life. "Dad, how are you?" Xiaobei jumped off Chen Mou's back, anxious and tearful. "I'm fine." Chen Mou touched Xiaobei's head, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. "You are angry but have not yet released it, and the disaster will come from the sky. What an assassin." After saying these words, Chen Mou seemed to have exhausted all his strength and slowly fell down. Li Xingming hurriedly pulled Chen Mou and laid him flat on the ground, and the life energy enveloped Chen Mou's body. Kong Dexiao collected the black ashes on the ground, and scanned with slightly turbid eyes. "It seems to be just an ordinary piece of paper, which has been infused with the power of the law and turned into a killing machine. Who is it?" Li Xingming showed a surprised look. "I can't tell. All the auras have been extinguished." Kong Dexiao handed over the black ash. Li Xingming took it in his hand and twisted it a few times. "There is really no way to tell. The country has been a little bit uneasy recently. All kinds of demons and monsters have come out. This kid is also a character. He is still so calm when facing a life and death crisis. Li Xingming sighed. How come Zhang Xingtang always encounters such a heroic talent? This matter must be thoroughly investigated. They came to our Xinghua Academy to assassinate, completely ignoring the dignity of the school. Kong Deshao's turbid eyes flashed a cold light. Now is the holiday period. Many teachers have left school, which gives those with ulterior motives an opportunity to take advantage of it. A medical car roared and stopped in front of several people. A doctor in a white coat jumped out of the car. Dean Li, Teacher Kong. After Kong Deshao resigned as the dean, he wanted to resign directly from Xinghua Academy, but the school leaders repeatedly retained him, and Kong Deshao finally decided to stay and be an ordinary teacher. The original dean position was held by Li Xingming. Li Xingming was not a teacher at Xinghua Academy at first, but he had been working in the education system and had a close relationship with Xinghua Academy. The saint of the Li family was one of the few supporters behind Xinghua Academy. The magic circle that gathered spiritual energy in Xinghua School was also contributed by the Saint Li. Chapter 216. First Aid. Hurry up and give first aid. Li Xingming said to the doctor. Several doctors came forward, picked up the instruments to examine Chen Mou's body, and took some first aid measures. One of them said, "Is this a sword through the chest? And there is also the meaning of annihilation in it that is destroying his body. The means are too cruel. If it were an ordinary person, he would have died long ago, but the strength of this person's body is beyond my cognition, far from the level he should have at this level." Several doctors took some emergency measures and immediately put Chen Mou on the medical vehicle. Xiaobei was so anxious that tears flowed, and then jumped into the medical vehicle. Arriving at the school hospital, the doctors immediately gave Chen Mou emergency treatment. The rescue lasted about half an hour. He's out of danger. This person's vitality is terrifying. He is simply inhuman. The attending physician was shocked. This kind of person is the doctor's favorite. If everyone has this kind of vitality, how can there be patients who cannot be saved? However, some people with this kind of vitality will not come to the hospital easily, and minor injuries will heal themselves casually. Is my dad okay? Xiaobei waited anxiously outside the emergency room. When he saw the doctors coming out, he asked immediately. He's not in danger of death? After getting the answer, Xiaobei rushed in with a whoosh, leaving the doctors in a daze. When he entered, Chen Mou was still in a coma. Xiaobei did not speak to disturb him, but just watched quietly. Xiaobei moved a chair and sat down next to him, with a trace of worry on his face. My strength is still too weak, and I can't help my dad much. In the battle, Xiaobei almost doubled Chen Mou's strength, but was still beaten by his opponent. Strength is a good thing. Xiaobei muttered to himself, I vaguely remember that I should have very strong strength. Where did it go? Li Xingming returned to the office and reported the matter to the principal, and then orders were passed down one by one. An assassination incident actually occurred on campus, which was a great shame for Xinghua Academy. Xinghua Academy, which is full of masters and backed by many saints, has enough comprehensive strength to beat a large number of super forces, but has been provoked repeatedly. The last Secret Realm incident had already been laughed at by the outside world, and now another incident has happened. Kong Deshao launched a heavenly punishment and killed LV Jingshan, the executor of the incident, which saved some face for Xinghua, but everyone knew that there must be a mastermind behind the incident. LV Jingshan didn't have that ability. In fact, for the reputation of the school, it would be a better choice to suppress the matter, but the principal did not do so. People should be open and honest, and schools should also be open and honest. Covering up things does not mean that they have not happened. A large-scale investigation was launched in the school, and various surveillance searches were carried out, leaving no suspicious places unattended. A night passed, the sky gradually dawned, and the golden crow star began to show its power. Lin Sichen pushed open the door and walked in. Xiaobei had not slept all night, and now he was lying next to the bed, a little confused. Hearing the movement, Xiaobei raised his head. Mom, Dad. Xiaobei jumped off the chair and rushed towards Lin Sichen quickly. It's okay, Xiaobei, don't worry. Lin Sichen picked up Xiaobei. I asked the doctor, Chen Mou is not in danger of life. Xiaobei, you should pay attention to rest, otherwise if you fall ill, your father will worry. I'm in good health, I won't get sick. Xiaobei said this, but he couldn't open his eyes, and a wave of sleepiness came over him. After not sleeping all night, He felt at ease in Lin Sichen's arms, and gradually fell asleep. Lin Sichen stepped forward, holding Xiaobei and sitting on the chair, carefully observing Chen Mou's condition. Chen Mou was still in a coma, his face was pale, almost bloodless, but Lin Sichen could feel that there was an immortal vitality condensing in Chen Mou's body, like a small grass, although weak, but burning endlessly. Chen Mou is quite handsome. Lin Sichen had never observed Chen Mou so carefully before. Chen Mou in his sleep, his face was still tense, very serious, and revealed a sharpness. After about an hour, Chen Mou's fingers moved slightly, and his eyelids gradually opened. "Are you awake?" Lin Sichen was a little surprised that he could wake up so quickly after such a serious injury. "Sister Chen, why are you here? How is Xiaobei?" Chen Mou's voice was a little weak. Lin Sichen hurriedly said, "Don't talk, just rest first. Xiaobei is fine, she is not injured, just a little tired. I will help take care of her these days. I just returned to school not long ago, and I heard that you were in trouble, so I came to visit." Chen Mou nodded, but he was thinking in his heart, who is so cruel that he wants to kill himself. Along the way, he has offended many people, but it is definitely not too many. First of all, the enemies in Yonghui City can be ruled out. The person who took action is at least to the level of a law scholar. There are very few law scholars in Yonghui City, and Chen Mou does not think that his hatred with the other party can reach this level. Sumo can be counted as one of those who are capable of inviting a law scholar. This person was severely slapped in the face by himself, and he was born in a famous family. It is possible that he spent a lot of money to hire a law scholar to deal with him, but generally speaking, this possibility is very small. In addition, Chen Mou also offended Changxing Metro Company. The act of selling a copy of the improvement measures to Qian War Armor Company may have affected the interests of Changxing Metro Company. This possibility is also not high, but it cannot be ruled out. Businessmen pay attention to making money with harmony, and generally do not do such things, which are taboos, but if you cut off his financial resources, it is possible that he will be unfriendly. It's a bit strange that this person didn't choose to attack when I was at home, but chose to attack when I was at school. Obviously, the assassination success rate is higher when I am at home, and it won't cause the anger of Xinghua Academy. After all, the nature of students being assassinated outside the school is different from that of being assassinated inside the school. Maybe this shows that this person doesn't care about Xinghua Academy at all, and didn't make any special plans. He just chose a random time to assassinate. Ignoring Xinghua Academy, this person is either very powerful or a lunatic. Chen Mou suddenly thought of Century Super Talibic, which is something that only a lunatic can do. "Wang Cheng, is it you?" Chen Mou locked a target in his mind. Chen Mou had just met Zhang Xingtang in Yonghui City, and talked about Wang Cheng during the meeting. He was assassinated shortly after returning to Xinghua Academy. This may mean that Wang Cheng learned about Chen Mou's meeting with Zhang Xingtang, and the other party suddenly decided to get rid of such a talented player. As for why the assassination was not carried out at home, it may be because the other party received the news after Chen Mou returned to school. This is a possibility, but it is also uncertain. Another possibility is that foreign forces, or even alien forces, took action to eliminate a threatening student and slap Xinghua Academy in the face. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217. This person is as strong as me. Chen Mou's expression was changing constantly, and there was no way to determine who had done it. Chen Mou had memories of the future, but he was not omniscient. He had an understanding of the general trend of future development, but it was impossible for him to understand everything clearly. Being assassinated was something that he had not encountered in his future memories. This was certainly not a good thing, but if you think about it from another angle, it might not be a bad thing. It just showed that Chen Mou was rewriting the future. Chen Mou could always find an optimistic perspective in bad things, which was a way to have fun in misery. By the way, I'll call the doctor to come and see your condition. Lin Sichen pressed a button on the bedside. Soon, a doctor hurried over and saw that Chen Mou had woken up so quickly, and a deep look of surprise appeared in his eyes. This man is even stronger than cockroaches. He quickly stepped forward and took the instrument to test Chen Mou's condition, The vital signs have fully recovered and he is completely out of danger, but he is still very weak. It is estimated that he will have to rest for a long time. After instructing some precautions, the doctor turned and left. Have you been recuperating for a long time? Chen Mou muttered to himself. He had to admit that this was the heaviest blow he had ever received, and his injuries were even more serious than those in the ancient mysterious realm. In fact, a sword piercing the chest was not fatal. What was more important was that the sword carried a strong aura of destruction, which destroyed Chen Mou's body functions. You want to kill me, but I am not angry. After all, we all have our own interests. In this world, weakness is the original sin. But don't get caught by me in the future. When I have cultivated successfully, I will twist off your head to offer sacrifice to the heaven. Chen Mou thought, murderous intent flashed in his eyes, and a subtle smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Lin Sichen happened to catch this scene, and couldn't help but tremble in his heart. Ordinary people who were assassinated would definitely be extremely angry, or panic, but Chen Mou was actually laughing. What a strange man. Lin Sichen felt that there was also a crazy gene in Chen Mou's body. By the way, I think Xuanzuo should have some way to treat your injury. Lin Sichen sent a message to Lin Xuanzuo. Lin Xuanzuo. Chen Mou was a little strange. Did she learn medical skills? Not long after, Lin Xuanzuo came over and asked as soon as he entered the door, Chen Mou, have you been assassinated? Seeing Chen Mou lying on the hospital bed, looking weak, Lin Xuanzuo understood the situation without the other party's answer. Lin Xuanzuo had never seen Chen Mou like this before. In the past, Chen Mou swept across the 8 directions, beat all those who disobeyed, and was fierce and intimidating. Sister, you should treat him quickly. Lin Sichen said. Oh, okay. Lin Xuanzuo stood in front of Chen Mou, took a deep breath, and a hazy light appeared around his body. Lin Xuanzuo stretched out a white and tender little hand, grabbed Chen Mou's arm, and the light rushed towards Chen Mou. Chen Mou felt refreshed, and from these lights, he felt a majestic vitality, and more importantly, it was very soft, something similar to the origin of heaven and earth. In order to save Chen Mou, Li Xingming also used the power of the law to gather a lot of life essence, but Chen Mou could not refine too much, and his recovery was limited. And now these lights are a bit like the origin of life, and they can be absorbed directly without refining. 3 minutes later, Lin Xuanzuo retracted his palm. Chen Mou felt much better, and his pale face recovered. He looked at Lin Xuanzuo in surprise. You still have this special ability. Lin Xuanzuo smiled proudly. You can also be surprised, of course. This is my sister's special physical ability. Lin Sichen explained, Xuanzuo's talent is even better than mine. That's not the case. How can I compare to my sister? Lin Xuanzuo was a little embarrassed. Haha, you two sisters are quite good at flattering each other. Chen Mou laughed. Lin Xuanzuo glared, how do you talk? Lin Sichen also smiled, and this smile was like a blooming lotus, making the whole room bright. Okay, let's go out and let Chen Mou have a good rest. Lin Sichen pulled Lin Xuanzuo away, holding Xiao Bei by the way, I will take care of Xiao Bei these days. Thank you for your trouble. Chen Mou's injury really won't heal for a while. Chen Mou is now relying on infusion to supplement nutrition, and he didn't eat lunch. In the afternoon, the doctor came to check and was shocked. What the hell, he has recovered a lot. If everyone is so awesome, what's the point of being a doctor? Doctors like patients with strong vitality, but if everyone is such a monster, doctors have to consider changing careers. In the principal's office, the gray-haired principal was listening to Li Xingming's report. Chen Mou's condition has stabilized and he is not in danger of life, but it is hard to say how long it will take to recover, and we don't know if he will have hidden injuries. The principal said, Chen Mou is a good kid. He sacrificed himself in the Black Forest to lead the demon ape away, which avoided greater casualties. We must do our best to treat him, and our school will cover all the medical expenses. The principal had a good impression of Chen Mou. The only regret was that Chen Mou skipped classes every day and had a fierce fight with his classmates from time to time, the kind that drew blood every move. Although he skipped classes and fought, was he a good student? Li Xingming said, of course, we will do our best to treat him. Also, the school has conducted a strict investigation, but still has not found how the assassin, that piece of paper, got in. It seems to have appeared out of thin air in Chen Mou's room. It is not surprising that an ordinary piece of paper can get in, but if it is a piece of paper with the power of law, It should be extremely difficult to hide from the various monitoring devices of Xinghua Academy. The principal frowned, completely hide from all monitoring devices, and finally the paper turned into ashes without leaving any trace? Interesting, our opponent is very strong. Li Xingming was a little angry. The opponent was completely provoking Xinghua Academy, and the key was that there was no clue. I also asked some teachers who stayed in school, and no one noticed the abnormality. Now I can only hope that Chen Mou will provide some information, otherwise there will be no clues, and the investigation may end in failure. The principal shook his head. How can there be no clues? At least from this, it can be seen that this person's strength is not inferior to mine. Li Xingming's eyes showed surprise. Not inferior to the old principal, this judgment is extraordinary. Who is the old principal? Hall of Fame Jehefan. Although he has retired for many years, this name can still shock countless strong men in the starry sky battlefield. His generation is older than the Li family saint. Principal, you mean? Li Xingming felt a little tricky. He originally thought that it was an assassination caused by personal grudges. After all, Chen Mou was very troublesome. Who would have thought that there was a saint involved behind the scenes? Thanks to Jinxie AI for the reward. Sometimes I forget to thank. Chapter 218. Discharge. Principal Jehefeng said calmly, this move must be to kill the genius. After all, killing a genius requires much less effort than killing a strong man. Wouldn't it save time and effort to directly kill the genius before he grows up? Li Xingming said, then who do you think is responsible? Is it an alien force? If you want to talk about suspicion, there are too many possibilities. Alien forces, foreign forces, or even an insider are all possible. Jeheften showed a trace of fatigue on his face. Surrounded by enemies, each force has its own calculations and its own interests. Under such circumstances, Huoqi country is just struggling to survive. This country is eager for a big victory, to kill all the black hands that dare to invade in one fell swoop and deter all enemies. But this time has not yet come. Huoqi country still needs to accumulate more strength and wait for its rise. Let's go visit Chen Mou and see how he is doing now. Jehefeng stood up and walked out the door. Chen Mou was lying on the bed, bored, when suddenly his eyes moved and he saw Jehefeng and Li Xingming walked in. Principal, Coach Li. Chen Mou greeted them. Although he had never met Principal Xinghua before, he had seen photos of them. You have recovered well. Jeheften was a little surprised. You look like me back then. I dare not compare myself with a principal. Chen Mou said modestly. Jeheften said a few words of concern, and then he got straight to the point. I came here just to visit you, but seeing that you are in good condition, I want to ask, do you know who the assassin is? Do you have any suspects? Chen Mou hesitated and glanced at Li Xingming. I suddenly remembered that I have something to do, and I have to go out to do it. You guys talk first. Li Xingming found an excuse to leave, but he cursed in his heart, you little bastard, I saved you, but you have to avoid me to say it? Humph, this kid, needless to say, must have learned it from Zhang Xingten. What kind of person is this? He is corrupting the next generation. Chen Mou searched for information about Jehefeng in his memory. He has fought in the starry sky all his life, killed countless enemies, and suffered countless injuries. He is worthy of the title of a pillar of the country. The old principal has retired from the battlefield for many years because of his old age, but in the future memory, when the contradictions were aroused and the battle entered a white-hot stage, Jeheften was ordered to return to the battlefield in danger, and finally sacrificed his life for the country and was buried in the vast starry sky. Such a person is undoubtedly worthy of Chen Mou's trust. Principal, in fact, I can't be sure who the assassin is. There is only one suspect. Please keep this matter confidential and don't tell anyone. Chen Mou made this request mainly because he didn't want to intensify the contradiction with the other party and prevent the other party from using any means to deal with him. What he needs most now is time, and time can quickly improve his cultivation. Okay, tell me. Jeheften agreed. I suspect it was Wang Cheng. Of course, there is no evidence. Jehefeng's face changed and he became serious. If it is this person, I am not too surprised. I have long seen that he has a rebellious nature. A long time ago, I learned that Wang Cheng always said in public that he wanted to serve the country, but he revealed his true thoughts in private. He said that he had achieved all this through his own efforts and did not owe the country anything. Wang Cheng's parents died when he was young. He earned his living expenses and tuition fees by himself. He worked hard and got money, So he felt that everything was an equal exchange. In his eyes, the country is just a place to work. This person mistook the platform for ability. Chen Mou said coldly, without the country providing him with a stable environment, could he have earned so much money and received so much training guidance? If he was born in a war-torn area, I am afraid he would have been wiped out long ago. Principal, you said you had noticed this person a long time ago? Why did you let him get away with it for so many years? Jie Houghton laughed. First of all, there is no evidence to prove that Wang Cheng has done anything bad. I am just guessing. I can't just ask him directly. The second is that he is extremely strong, not inferior to me. With the 3 emperors in charge of the Starry Sky, there is no one in Huaki country who can defeat him. And the third point is that he has recently transferred a large amount of assets and power to foreign countries, and is not developing in Huaki country. Chen Mou was silent. In the final analysis, Wang Cheng was too strong and his foundation was too deep. Then how are you going to deal with it, Principal? Jie Houghton said, you asked me not to disclose this matter, and I can't investigate it in a big way, but I will give him a small warning, at least so that he can't act recklessly again. Chen Mou nodded. This was the only way he could do. The main reason was that there was no solid evidence, and Jie Houghton could not do it to the extent that both sides would suffer losses or even perish together with Wang Cheng. With this kind of strength, Jie Houghton would rather use it to deal with aliens. Looking at Jie Houghton's departing back, Chen Mou murmured, it seems that I still have to rely on myself. Wang Cheng, when I have the power to crush you, I will not tell you the evidence. Chen Mou stayed in the hospital for 3 days. During this period, Lin Sichen and Lin Chuanzuo came to visit him many times, and brought Xiaobei with them when they came. Except for going to the cafeteria at mealtime, Xiaobei stayed in the ward to accompany Chen Mou and stopped watching cartoons. It was really a huge sacrifice. 3 days later, Chen Mou's injuries were finally recovered and he was ready to be discharged. The doctor said he would not agree at first. Discharge in 3 days? Do you think you just have a cold? But after a round of examination, the doctor finally agreed, but looked at Chen Mou's departing back with a complicated look in his eyes. He hurriedly called his son. Hello, son? You said you don't want to study medicine and you are not interested in this field. I have always criticized you, but now I have figured it out. You can do whatever job you like. What? Why did I figure it out? What happened? Nothing happened. I have always been open-minded. Okay, don't ask me anymore. I will tell you. I used to think that doctors had a stable job and always hoped that you could be more stable, but now I am a little worried that you will be unemployed in the future. After Chen Mou was discharged from the hospital, he first took Xiaobei to the cafeteria for a meal, and then went to the training room to start practicing. He started to practice sea swallow art, and the blood rumbled and roared, and began to repair some injuries on the body that had not yet completely healed. If an ordinary person suffered such an injury, even if he did not die, he would definitely leave permanent trauma. After all, a sword pierced the chest and pierced the muscles and organs. But Chen Mou practiced sea swallow art and magic dragon body forging method, and the cells gradually differentiated, the muscles slowly squirmed, and began to reorganize. I worked overtime today and only had a few manuscripts saved. I almost missed the update, but luckily I managed to catch up. Chapter 219. Everyone returns to school. After practicing for several days, Chen Mou's injuries were completely recovered. February 15th was the day when Xinghua students returned to school. A group of ragged students appeared at the gate of Xinghua, each with injuries and a listless look, but their eyes were bright. Chen Kai was one of them. This trial made him suffer a lot, and he almost died of serious injuries several times. Fortunately, the devouring combat body had amazing recovery ability. Facing the demon species, the strong devouring combat body seemed to have become an ordinary physique and was easily broken. A hawk swooped down and left a blood mark, and a demon leopard pounced on it and left a deep wound that could be seen to the bone. You know, with Chen Kai's current physical strength, he would be fine even if he was hit by a pistol, but he would be very nervous when facing the demon species. Among many senior brothers and sisters, Chen Kai had the lowest cultivation, but he was not the worst. Someone else lost an arm in the battle. Although with this person's cultivation, combined with the current medical technology, it is not impossible to regenerate a broken arm, but it is very troublesome and time-consuming. There is still a long way to go. Chen Kai sighed. How can the road of cultivation be smooth? This trial was indeed full of dangers, which made Chen Kai fully understand his own shortcomings. This life can be said to be saved. If he had to do it again, he didn't know if he would have the courage to ask his mentor to join the trial. The group stepped into the school gate. Not dying this time is the greatest victory. The results of the trial will be subtly engraved into their bodies and brought in their future path forward. Not long after, Su Daoai returned from the main gate. He had many wounds on his body, carrying a long sword on his back, with a calm expression and no words. After a walk around the campus, he soon heard the news that Chen Mou had been assassinated. An old voice sounded in Su Dao's body, and he was amazed. Did I make a wrong estimate before? Chen Mou is not the reincarnation of a god. The majesty of God cannot be violated. Even if it is a reincarnated body, its power is not obvious at ordinary times. If it encounters a life and death crisis, a trace of power can be stimulated to kill evil and slay the rebels. How could it be forced to this point? Su Dao was also quite concerned about this matter. After all, Chen Mou was his roommate. Soon he learned that Chen Mou was discharged from the hospital 3 days after being pierced through the chest by a sword. The old voice suddenly realized, looking at this recovery ability, it has a bit of the meaning of a god's body. This person is really cruel to himself and is determined not to use the power of the gods, just for better experience. He was more certain of Chen Mou's identity. Although he didn't know who he was, he might be an old acquaintance of Ziyuk. The two of them reincarnated to Zijixing together. Could it be that there was some conspiracy? It can be said that one person reincarnated here, but it is worth pondering that both of them chose this place. Boy, you have to pay attention. Chen Mou and Chu Xiaoxi must have been reincarnated because their real bodies were severely damaged. But the universe is so big, why did they both choose Zijistar? There must be something fishy. Maybe a great opportunity is coming, you can go and fight for it. The old voice reminded. Su Dao nodded. Okay, you support me when the time comes. I want to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. The old voice suddenly fell silent. Playing tricks in front of the two gods, snatching food from the tiger's mouth? Why didn't he dare? Okay, you are scared. Su Dao knew that this old guy was not taking good care of him. This matter is a little inappropriate. Let's give up strategically. The old voice said, with me here, what opportunity do we need to fight for? Why don't you worship me as your master and pass on my Taoism? Su Dao felt that he had learned a new word, called strategic abandonment. It is not easy to say that being scared is so fresh and refined. As for worshipping him as a master, just listen to this kind of words. This person definitely has bad intentions. At the beginning of the school year, there was a lot of news on campus, and the today's brief on the Xinghu forum was full of explosive news. First, Chen Mou was assassinated, and was targeted by a person at least to the level of a law scholar. This matter was on the headlines for several days in a row, and the popularity remained high. Chen Mou is also a celebrity in Xinghu. Although his fame is still not as good as some of his seniors, he has received attention. Moreover, such a major event of being assassinated in the school, even if it only happened to an ordinary student, can attract a huge amount of attention. Xinghu school authorities did not choose to conceal it. The influence of this matter spread directly outside the school. While some schools were watching Xinghu's jokes, they were also trembling with fear and immediately strengthened security measures to avoid repeating the same mistakes. In addition, many events were recorded in the today's brief. For example, a senior brother broke through to the high level of Miracle Master, which shocked everyone. Breaking through realms is more difficult as you go up. There is still 1 semester before graduation, and breaking through to this realm is definitely a genius among geniuses. A high-level Miracle Master can be said to be a top figure in the whole society. With his talent, it is almost certain that he will break through to the level of a law scholar in the future, and he should be able to reach the high level of a law scholar in the end. As for the saint, no one can be sure. This realm is too difficult. Talent, opportunity, perseverance, etc. are all indispensable. In general, there is little hope, but there is also a slight possibility. Other news, such as the return of Chen Kai's training team, has attracted a lot of attention. The focus is on the senior brothers and sisters. Chen Kai is just a soy sauce, but his performance has also been noticed by some people with intentions. Su Dao once again comprehended a new sword move with amazing lethality. He stepped on a senior brother on the Xinghu list and was promoted in the ranking. There are also several provincial champions among the freshmen, and each has a brilliant performance. The operation team of today's brief also specially organized a special topic to compare the performance of the provincial champions of previous years. For a while, the popularity soared. This comparison made people surprised to find that several provincial champions among the freshmen were extremely talented and were no worse than Huangfuze and others. Huangfuze and Duqi, ranked first and second on the Xia list, were both provincial champions, but from different provinces. Lin Sichen, ranked third on the Xia list, was not the provincial champion that year. He seemed to be ranked only 8th or 9th in the college entrance examination. It is not known whether he performed poorly or was too low-key. Huangfuze and Duqi showed great talent when they first entered school that year, and they were the talk of the town. Among the freshmen, Meng Ziming, Lu Zuanshan and others were obviously a little miserable, a little mediocre, and often made people forget their provincial champion status. After all, Chen Mou and Su Dao were arrogant and directly suppressed Anura. Even Chen Kai showed strong fighting power. Lu Zuanshan once challenged Su Dao and was severely taught a lesson by the other party. This battle was very popular before the war and received a lot of attention, but the result was disappointing. Su Dao maintained a great advantage during the battle. Although the two sides fought back and forth, there was basically no suspense. Chapter 220, Campus Storm. This person has unparalleled talent. In such an environment, several provincial champions performed mediocrely, and for a while, they were treated as younger brothers. But this time, the today's brief inventory compared the provincial champions from freshman to senior year, and people found that the performance of Meng Ziming and others was not bad, and they were actually the same as Huangfuze and others in their freshman year. These people broke through to the realm of high-level miracle apprentices shortly after the start of the second semester, and are expected to break through to the realm of miracle masters during the summer vacation. In terms of time scale, it is similar to Huangfuze, Duqi and others. The senior brother who broke through to the high-level miracle master and aroused everyone's amazement was also the provincial champion that year. Meng Ziming, Lu Zuanshan, He Long, Sitabin and others seem to be as talented as this senior brother, and they may be able to replicate this journey. There was a lot of discussion on the forum. I must have read fake intelligence. Is Sitabin that strong? Lu Zuanshan's talent is not inferior to Huangfuze. Wasn't this guy beaten like a dog by Su Dao? He Long seems to have been unknown all along. He rarely fights with others and is always practicing hard. I didn't expect him to have such a high talent. Maybe this is the truth. We have been blinded by subjective views before. How can anyone who can become the top scorer in the college entrance examination of a province be a weak person? Especially the class of 3020 is known as the most talented class in recent years. Although it is meant to be flattering, it also has certain factual basis, which is why this view has spread. We can only blame these people for their bad luck. They insisted on applying for Xinghua, and were suppressed by Chen Mou and Su Dao. Even when they fought against Chen Kai, they couldn't get any advantage. If they applied for other schools, they would probably be celebrities. I think they can't apply for Mingdao University. This school is too famous. Top scorers in the college entrance examination flock there. The competition is high. There is also Chiu Xiaoxi in charge. No matter how many people come, they are just foils. Look at what you said. Xinghua cannot be applied for, Mingdao cannot be applied for. Do you look down on Yanshan University and Bixun University? I heard that Yanshan University and Bixun University have also produced one or two geniuses, the kind that can be called monsters, and have been vigorously cultivated by the school. I think they should not be in school in this class. If they were in other years, they would also be influential figures. The summary above is incisive. I'm addicted to you. The above person above is 666. Sitabin saw the ridicule about himself on the internet and was so angry that his face turned blue. A bunch of useless people who can only brag. If you really come, I will beat you single-handedly. I am suppressed by Chen Mou, so what? There is progress only when there is pressure. This kid was pierced by a sword. Although he luckily saved his life, it is hard to say whether he has any sequelae. His cultivation progress will definitely be delayed. Chen Mou, although you have good fighting power, and a high-level miracle apprentice can fight against a miracle master, you only rely on the advantage of weapons. After all, you don't have the power of a miracle master. Wait until I am promoted to the realm of miracle master first, and then see how I can suppress you. Sitabin closed the webpage and began to practice hard. He Long also laughed, and didn't think that Chen Mou and Sudeo were anything great. He rarely fought with others, and he spent his time practicing, just to come out one day and sweep everything directly. Meng Ziming was a little helpless. On the one hand, he felt very sorry to know that Chen Mou was seriously injured and might have sequelae. On the other hand, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Competing with Chen Mou was too stressful, but if he really had a choice, Meng Ziming would not change to another year to take the college entrance examination. After all, competing with such people can better stimulate his potential. At the beginning of the school year, the today's brief was very rich in content. Today this genius was promoted, and tomorrow those two fought for the ranking on the list. For a while, it was all explosive news. This is a tabloid-like thing, operated by the student union, and its influence on campus is even greater than that of the school's official news. The person in charge of this work in the student union writes every day like it's the new year. But soon, the campus became strangely quiet. After the initial grand occasion, the operation team found that there was nothing to write recently. They have many news channels in the school and also accept news reports from students, but after the bombardment at the beginning of the school year, there really is nothing big happening recently. In order to maintain at least a certain amount of news content every day, the team has been writing from freshmen to seniors, and from seniors to freshmen. If there is really no news to write, just pick something to make up the number. For example, this senior brother on the Xinghu list said that he would challenge the person in front of him in the near future, and the news was written before the fight. The senior sister on the school beauty list was suspected of having a scandal and met a genius senior brother in a coffee shop. After following the report for 2 days in a row, on the third day, the two said that it was just that the instructor had recently given a topic and the two were discussing how to complete it. Then it was reported that Chen Mou was pale after coming out of the training room, suspected that his old injury had not healed and the injury was triggered after the intense training. Some people also found that Chen Mou had a meal with Lin Sijin, and they might be in a relationship. These two people don't have the same mentor, right? Are they also discussing the topic? What's more, 2 days later, Chen Mou went out to have a meal with Lin Sijin's sister Lin Xuanzuo. These things looked fresh in the early stage, but they were scolded by students for being spammy in the later stage, and trivial things were brought out. In the student union activity room, Zheng Xiangming's hair turned white with worry. I was scolded again. If you scold again, you will scold people stupidly. Zheng Xiangming is one of the main writers of today's brief and has always been known for his title party. He found that as long as the title is good, the number of readers is inevitable. Zheng Xiangming also summed up a rule that more exclamation marks, question marks and other symbols should be used in the title to cause a strong visual impact, which can attract students to read. For example, take advantage of the hot spots of celebrities in the school. For example, a title, XX Senior Brother Breaks Through, Amazing Talent, this title may have a relatively small number of readers. But if another title is given, Dean Fang once admitted, this person is unparalleled in talent. Today the senior brother made another breakthrough. It successfully took advantage of Dean Fang's popularity, and the title did not reveal which senior brother it was, which immediately attracted everyone to take a look. In addition to the good title, Zheng Xiangming is also good at writing articles. He also summarized 16 writing styles. As soon as the article came out, the number of readers increased steadily. For a while, Zheng Xiangming was very proud. But that was all the glory of the past. There are too few hot spots on campus recently, and Zheng Xiangming is like a clever cook who can't cook without rice. In the past, when he was a title party, at least there was a lot of content in the article, but now when he's a title party, it is really just a title party. Zheng Xiangming was scolded by the deceived students, and he himself was also depressed. Why hasn't anyone caused any trouble yet? You've been practicing hard in the mountains all day long. Where's the troublemaker, Chen Mou? Since school started in February, you've been practicing every day. Now it's April, and you haven't come out yet. Why haven't you vomited up all your practice? Chapter 221 Target Chen Mou. Chen Mou has not been paying attention to the news recently. He has been practicing silently. The magic dragon body refining method and the spirit refining method were started at the same time, one for body refining and the other for spirit refining, going hand in hand. Chen Mou in the training room emitted a faint light from his body, reflecting the tendons and bones of his body. The process of human cultivation is actually a process of continuous strengthening. Strengthen the tendons, bones, cells, etc., and replace some weak and aging cells. Why do people have hidden injuries? Why do some injuries suffered more than 10 years ago still have scars more than 10 years later? This is determined by the structure of the human body, and some wounds cannot be repaired well. But at Chen Mou's level, he has practiced a magic dragon body refining method. With a thought, he can already control the differentiation and combination of cells. Of course, it is not the kind of rapid change, and it takes time to transform. Although he was seriously injured that day, after Chen Mou's several controlled repairs, not only did the scars on the surface of the body disappear, but the blood vessels and muscles inside the body were also rebuilt and restored to an intact state. In fact, the magic dragon body forging method is still a transitional method. In the future, Chen Mou can condense a storm body, split into billions of particles, which can gather or disperse, and reassemble after destruction. At that time, Chen Mou would not be hurt even if he stood and was bombarded. However, this realm is too far away. Chen Mou has not even cultivated the magic dragon body forging method to a high level, so he can't be too ambitious. In addition to training in the training room, Chen Mou also enters the virtual battlefield from time to time to exercise his mental strength. There is no ranking, after all, he is now a golden god, and the people he will be ranked with are probably miracle masters. Cross-border battles are meaningless. Some people say that cross-border battles can bring pressure to people and help them break through, but Chen Mou is not suitable for this situation. Now Chen Mou's primary goal is to temper his body and mind, push both to a perfect state, and then cooperate with spiritual medicine to break through in one fell swoop. From February to April, Chen Mou was very low-key, so low-key that all the students in the school forgot how troublesome he used to be. Zheng Xiangming was full of expectations for Chen Mou at first, hoping that he would make some big moves, but later he gradually became desperate. This person could not be counted on. So he turned to discover the deeds of other geniuses in the school. Fortunately, after a period of silence, the students in the school finally became active again. First, there was a series of changes in the Xinghu list, and struggles broke out frequently. Not only did the juniors and seniors fight each other, but also the strong men who ranked at the top of the small Xinghu list, such as Huang Fuze and Du Qi, also challenged one after another to occupy a place on the Xinghu list. There is a rule in the school that seniors and the juniors and seniors are not allowed to be included in the small Xinghu list, fearing that they will come to bully the weak. But there is no rule that students in the first and second years are not allowed to be included in the Xinghu list. The Xinghu list is the real gold content. When this semester is over, Huang Fuze and others will enter the third year, and they will be removed from the small Xinghu list, and can only compete for rankings on the Xinghu list. Huang Fuze simply challenged many seniors in advance. Although there are many geniuses in Xinghu Academy, they are divided into different levels. After all, there are still only a few geniuses among geniuses. Many senior brothers and sisters are still at the level of miracle apprentices. It is difficult for them to compete with Huang Fuze, who is at the level of miracle master. For a while, Huang Fuze's ranking rose wildly. On the Xiaox Xinghu list, Chen Mou ranked 4th. Although Chen Mou and Huang Fuze tied that day, he had the help of weapons after all, and he himself had not yet reached the level of miracle master, so he could only rank 4th. Even so, this ranking is considered very high. When this semester is over and the next semester starts, Huang Fuze and others will be promoted to juniors and will no longer participate in the Xiaox Xinghu list ranking. Chen Mou will naturally sit on the top of the Xiaox Xinghu list. Huang Fuze's first place is also in this way. However, this is only an ideal situation. Chen Mou is 4th now, but it does not mean that he will always be 4th. He has been silent for too long recently. It seems that he has become honest and dutiful after being assassinated and no longer causes trouble. Chen Mou doesn't provoke others, but that doesn't mean others won't challenge him. The pace of many geniuses in the school will never stop. Sitabin has already said that he is at a critical juncture in practicing a combat skill recently, and he will challenge Chen Mou immediately after completing the practice. In this battle, neither side can bring weapons. This is an additional requirement added by Sitabin. It's not that Sitabin is afraid of Chen Mou's soul-slaying sword. He has a strong family background and can also get weapons at the level of law scholars. But he and Chen Mou don't rely much on weapons at ordinary times, so it's better to fight directly with their bodies and combat skills. Zheng Xiangming was very excited when he heard the news, and immediately wrote an article in today's brief. Chen Mou's dominance is challenged. Who is the first of the new generation? As soon as this article came out, it immediately attracted onlookers, and the number of replies increased rapidly. Very good, you successfully brought that in. It's another clickbait title. Sitabin only has the intention to challenge, and Chen Mou hasn't even accepted the challenge yet. Why does your title make it sound like Sitabin has already won? Although it's still a clickbait title, at least the content is a bit novel. Since you've worked so hard, I'll give you a good review. The person above, are you taking advantage of me? I'm the dad and you're the grandpa. By the way, Chen Mou has been very low-key recently. He doesn't play ranked games in the virtual battlefield, and he doesn't have any records in the real world. I wonder how his injury is recovering. This injury should be quite serious. It's estimated that it will greatly hinder his progress in cultivation. Chen Mou is now like a tiger in a plane being bullied by a dog. I heard that not only Sitabin, but Yilong also has the intention to challenge. As for Lu Zuanshan, he is wholeheartedly thinking about improving his strength and taking revenge on Sudao. He has no plans to challenge Chen Mou for the time being. These guys can't be called dogs. To be fair, their talents are much stronger than mine. Even if Chen Mou wasn't injured, there would be a battle between them. I wonder who among the freshmen can be the first to be promoted to the level of Miracle Master? That is the real key to success. In the gravity room, Yilong was practicing with his upper body naked. His strong muscles contained explosive power. At this time, the value of the gravity room showed 22 times. Under the pressure of 22 times gravity, Yilong's miracle power exploded, his body remained motionless, and his breathing was even. Add more for me. Yilong controlled the instrument in the gravity room, and the gravity coefficient increased again 22.5 times 23 times 23.5 times. Finally, it stopped at 24 times. Yilong was using gravity to temper his body and the strength of his miracle power. In front of the gravity room, more and more people gathered, and their eyes were filled with deep surprise. Who is the person inside? Could it be a senior brother? The gravity is much higher than when Liu Nanshan and Zhao Wenhu had a duel. Chapter 222? This won't do. This man is Yilong. He is very well hidden. I didn't expect his strength to be so strong. Looking at the 24 times value clearly displayed on the gravity chamber, one person exclaimed. Among the provincial champions, Yilong is relatively low-key. He has not had any achievements. If it weren't for being exposed today, I'm afraid no one would know how strong he is. The information in today's brief is true. These provincial champions are not easy to deal with. Judging from Yilong's performance, he is definitely not weaker than Huang Fuze in his freshman year. Yilong has been unknown before. I'm afraid he has the idea of deliberately keeping a low profile. But now he is no longer hiding and showing it. It seems that he has been sharpening his sword for a long time and is about to show his strength. I'm afraid Chen Mou's dominant position will really be impacted. Not long after, Zhao Wenhu also learned about this news by chance and couldn't help but smile coldly. These freshmen are really monsters. Sudao, Yilong, and Chen Mou all make me feel pressured, but I am no longer the same person I used to be. I can't stand still. If there's a chance, I would like to see your abilities. Chen Mou, how strong is Chen Mou who can suppress all the freshmen? Although Zhao Wenhu is a sophomore, in terms of age, he is almost the same age as the freshmen of this year, so it is not considered bullying the weak if they fight. There are undercurrents on campus. Many freshmen now have only two goals. The first is the realm of Miracle Master. Whoever can reach this realm first can suppress the whole field. The second is the first place in the future Xia Oxinghu list. Although there are not many benefits to occupying the first place, at most it will help a little in the scholarship assessment, but what makes people value this position more is the honor. Like many games, why do you have to fight for the first place in the country and the first place in the list? It is for that huge sense of honor. The game of life is the same. In addition to several provincial champions, Xinghu also hides many strong players. The provincial champion is the first in the province's college entrance examination, but the second and third are not much worse than him. Everyone fought fiercely for the ranking, and the attention to the Xia Oxinghu list and the Xinghu list was unprecedentedly high. The school beauty list has become unpopular. This list will only attract attention and discussion when new students enter the school every year and are reshuffled. In the vortex, Chen Mou's life is very comfortable, and no one comes to challenge him. The ranking of the Xia Oxinghu list has changed dramatically, but the top 4 positions are as stable as Mount Tai. But most people know that this is just the calm before the storm. Now all the students are accumulating strength, just waiting for someone to take the lead. Sitabin and Heilong both expressed their intention to challenge Chen Mou, but neither of them is absolutely sure, and they are still making preparations and have not officially issued a challenge letter. In the coffee shop, Chen Mou and Lin Sichen sat opposite each other. Chen Mou has recently cultivated to a certain level, and his aura has been restrained, and he looks ordinary. Lin Sichen is still like the Nine Heavens mysterious woman, with an ethereal temperament like a fairy. Junior brother, what do you want to talk to me about? Lin Sichen was a little confused. It was rare for Chen Mou to take the initiative to ask her out for a meeting. Sister Chen, this is the case. I need 2 Mingxian flowers for my recent cultivation, but there are none in the nearby shopping malls. I want to ask if you have any channels in this regard? The price can be negotiated. Chen Mou came here mainly for the Mingxian flowers. In fact, this matter can also be discussed over the phone, but Chen Mou felt that in order to express his sincerity, he should at least treat people to a meal. He felt that he had made great progress recently and had a better understanding of the ways of the world. But Chen Mou overlooked one point. How many people cried and begged to invite Lin Sichen out for a meal, but were rejected? Mingxian flowers, or 2. Lin Sichen's eyes flashed with surprise. Are you going to break through to the realm of Miracle Master? Chen Mou did not hide it, nodded and said, I do have this idea. Junior brother is really gifted. But to break through to the realm of Miracle Master, not only physical fitness and mental strength must meet the standards, but more importantly, you must have that kind of perception. Lin Sichen reminded. Chen Mou said, this is not a problem. It is easy for me to comprehend this realm. He also knew that some people prepared a lot of spiritual medicines in order to break through the realm of miracle masters, but they failed in the end because they could not comprehend it. Although there was no damage to the body, the pile of spiritual medicines worth thousands of gold was wasted. However, this was not a problem for Chen Mou. He had some future memories and had a deep perception of things like miracles and laws. Lin Sichen heard this and nodded slightly. It was easy. Chen Mou said this very arrogantly. But some people talk arrogantly and eventually they can do it, while some people talk arrogantly but are just boasting. In Lin Sichen's opinion, Chen Mou is naturally the former. Chen Mou has never been slapped in the face for what he said and did. Or maybe this is not arrogant, Chen Mou is just stating a fact. Mingxian flowers, I have some here, I can provide you with 2, as for the money, that's not necessary. Lin Sichen recovered from the initial surprise and his face was calm. How can this be? Chen Mou shook his head and did not intend to accept it. Mingxian flowers, the price of one plant is generally more than 10 million. 2 Mingxian flowers, Lin Sichen actually gave them away as soon as he said so. Chen Mou, don't be anxious, listen to me. In fact, this is very normal. Many Hall of Fame families have made friends with young geniuses and provided some help to these geniuses before they grow up. We don't have any requirements. We just hope that after you grow up, if you encounter a situation where the Lin family is in trouble, we can provide some assistance. There is no need to sign any contracts for this matter. You are completely free. It depends on your idea whether to help or not. Lin Sichen explained that this is a common method used by many Hall of Fame families. Giving help to some geniuses when they are young, the other party will naturally not forget the favor of the Hall of Fame family after they become successful. It is precisely because of this that the strength of the Hall of Fame family will become stronger and stronger. No, I'll just buy it with money. Chen Mou is not disgusted with this method. In fact, it can be said to be a win-win situation, but he really doesn't want to owe too many favors. I accepted the favor of the senior brothers and sisters in the Black Forest that day. I wonder if I will have the opportunity to repay them in the future? Sometimes, owing too many favors is also a burden. Lin Sichen smiled with some regret. Well, it seems that the Mingxian flower still can't make you excited. When you cultivate to a deeper level in the future, I guess our Lin family won't have any treasures that you value. How could that be? Chen Mou looked directly at Lin Sichen, his eyes burning. Lin Sichen's face, which was always calm and cold, turned slightly red. What do you mean? This won't do. Chen Mou also realized that the other party had misunderstood. No, what I mean is that I value our friendship very much. If there is a real need in the future, I will naturally lend a helping hand to the Lin family. So that's the case. Lin Sichen seemed to have suddenly realized something, but he muttered to himself in his heart, it would be strange if I believed you. Chapter 223, Challenge Chen Mou to decisive battle tomorrow. In the end, Chen Mou decided to spend money to buy the Mingxian flower. The price of the spiritual medicine Mingxian flower fluctuates. When it was produced in large quantities before, it was relatively cheap, several million per plant. Now the production has decreased, and there is no market for it. One plant has to sell for more than 10 million. Lin Sichen can buy it through the internal channels of the Lin family, which is relatively cheap, only 8.5 million per plant. Chen Mou plans to buy 2 plants. Although he doesn't want to owe Lin Sichen a favor, he actually accepts the other party's help. Chen Mou is not a completely rigid person. The next day, Lin Sichen brought the things to Chen Mou. Looking at the 2 plants with 7 color petals in his hand, Chen Mou felt that his mental power was slightly active. Chen Mou put the Mingxian flower into a box and walked towards the dormitory excitedly. With these 2 things, Chen Mou is 100% sure to break through to the realm of Miracle Master. By then, his strength will be enough to multiply several times, and if he encounters an assassination again, he can naturally fight back calmly. Although the other party possesses the power of law, which is above the Miracle Master, the power is only carried by a piece of paper, which cannot exert much power. This person dare not come in person. As for the fight in the school, Chen Mou completely ignored it. He didn't think there was anything to fight with this group of students. His eyes were already focused on the distance. Just halfway through the journey, a ding-dong reminder sounded. Chen Mou took out his mobile phone and saw that it was a message from the Zuan's exchange network. The sender of the message was Haiyan Jue. Hello, military advisor. I'm really sorry to bother you again. I recently encountered a problem and asked a few people for help, but the answers I got were still too profound for me. I heard that a true master can explain the problem in a simple and easy-to-understand way, so I thought of asking you for help and hoping to get an answer. The thing is, I am now at the advanced stage of a miracle apprentice. I feel that my body and spirit have almost been cultivated to perfection. It stands to reason that breaking through to the realm of a miracle master is not a problem, but I still only have a superficial understanding of the realm of a miracle master. I can't feel the spirit, so there is no way to talk about a breakthrough. Chen Mou saw it and understood that Haiyan Jue wanted him to help guide him on how to break through to the realm of a miracle master. Later, Haiyan Jue also added a reason, because the friends around him said that they were ready to break through to the realm of a miracle master, so I also planned to. Seeing this, Chen Mou couldn't help but widen his eyes. Is this a breakthrough by following the trend? Can this kind of thing be followed? Based on his understanding of Haiyan Jue, Chen Mou imagined this scene. First of all, Haiyan Jue should be the boss of a small metro company. One day, he was too bored and went out to have tea with his entrepreneur friends. Everyone sat in a circle, wearing gold-rimmed glasses on their noses and Rolex watches on their wrists, and began to talk about everything. From crude oil futures to international situations. From market policies to starry sky strategies. It can be said that they know everything. Suddenly, an entrepreneur friend said, I have been busy with work recently, and my cultivation has stagnated at the level of miracle apprentice for a long time. I finally have some free time. I plan to use it to break through to the level of miracle master. Another person said, yes, the level of miracle apprentice is still too low and cannot match your identities well. At least we have to be miracle masters. So everyone responded and tried every means to break through to the level of miracle master. Although Chen Mou is only at the level of miracle apprentice now, it does not prevent him from pointing fingers at Jiangshan. Chen Mou thought about it, organized his words, and then began to tap the soft keyboard of his mobile phone to type a reply. A miracle master is a person who represents miracles. He has the ability to bring back the dead, interfere with mines, teleport, control strong winds, manipulate lightning, and change the temperature. These abilities have their own miraculous effects, and they really reflect the word miracle. If you want to be promoted to the level of a miracle master, you must have a deep understanding of miracles. How to deepen your understanding? My personal suggestion is to use empty thinking and imagine that you can do anything. In your imagination, you are the most powerful being. It is easy to change your fate against the will of heaven. It is not impossible to crush saints, destroy stars, travel through black holes, and travel across 3,000 worlds. Done. Chen Mou put his phone back into his trouser pocket. On the other side, Lin Chuanzuo was surprised to see that the dog-headed military advisor replied so quickly. He quickly clicked on the message and prepared to read the profound theory. But as he watched, Lin Chuanzuo's face became strange. Empty thoughts? Imagine that you can crush the saints, travel through black holes, and travel across 3,000 worlds. Would that be crazy? A real miracle worker wouldn't be that powerful. No, think about it again. The boss must have a real meaning behind his words. Ah, I see. Empty thoughts mean believing that you can create miracles. Firm your faith, comprehend miracles, and eventually reach a state where heaven and earth are united and miracles are one. Lin Chuanzhou felt that he was very insightful. Okay, I will practice empty thoughts in the next few days. In a training room, wind and thunder were surging, and the sound of dragons and tigers roaring could be heard faintly. Thunder method, shaking the sky. Sitabin clenched his fist, thunder suddenly rose, and dense electric light enveloped his body, like a god descending from heaven. The electric light surged and shot out in all directions. The formations in the training room lit up one after another, and the special materials on the wall also absorbed this power at the same time, so that it did not cause too much damage. With a movement of his body, a silver electric current was infused, and his hair stood up. Sitabin strode forward. A large metal cylinder as thick as a human figure was pierced by Sitabin's punch, and then it exploded, and metal fragments flew everywhere. I finally mastered this move and have a little bit of the power of a miracle master. I wonder how far away it is from breaking through to become a miracle master. He pushed open the door of the training room and walked out. There were already a few people waiting outside. Seeing this, they all shouted, "Young Master Bin." These people were all Sitabin's younger brothers. They were either impressed by his strength or attracted by his family background, and they were willing to run around for Sitabin. There was still a faint electric light jumping around Sitabin, making people feel a pressure coming towards them. Is this Sitabin? Why did he come out early today? The people around him noticed this scene. Sitabin's momentum is stronger than the previous 2 days. Has the secret method been successfully cultivated? Send me a letter of challenge and ask Chen Mou to fight tomorrow. Sitabin ordered lightly. Yes. The younger brothers were excited. They had been annoyed with Chen Mou for a long time. Today, the boss was finally going to come out and beat him up. Many students around were shocked. Sitabin was actually going to challenge Chen Mou. You know, Chen Mou was not only the best among the freshmen, but also the best among the sophomores. This could be seen from Chen Mou's ranking on the Xiaoxinghu list. Today, someone was finally going to challenge his dominance. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224, Impact on the Miracle Master Realm. The news soon spread to the school forum, triggering a round of discussion. He long saw the message sent to him by a classmate, his eyes deep. I originally wanted to challenge Chen Mou within the next 2 days, but you got there first. At this time, metal balls in the training room, driven by iron chains, rushed towards Zilong. Long did not dodge, allowing the high-speed metal balls to hide him. The key exploded, and all the metal balls flew back. 1 or 2 iron chains were broken, and the balls lost control and hit the wall. Chen Mou took out the Fire Sun Vine from the locker in the room. This was the elixir given to him by senior brother Black Forest, and he has not used it yet. He told Xiaobei to stay in the room and not run around. Chen Mou was going to go out and break through to the realm of Miracle Master. Xiaobei naturally agreed, and her eyes wandered to the computer. It seemed that as soon as Chen Mou left, she would immediately open the animation website. In the training room, Chen Mou ate the Fire Sun Vine and 2 Mingshan flowers at the same time. The Fire Sun Vine provides the essence of life, which is mainly used to strengthen the body, while the Mingshan flower is used to enhance mental strength. As soon as he finished swallowing, the digestive organs in his body immediately operated vigorously, directly crushing and digesting the 3 spiritual medicines. Chen Mou felt his body explode with a bang, and violent power surged out of the 3 spiritual medicines and spread to every corner of his body. No, I can't stand it. Digest it slowly. Chen Mou's mind moved, and the speed of the digestive organs began to slow down. Even so, the energy was still turbulent, washing every bone and every tendon frantically. The spiritual power of the Sea of Consciousness began to set off a huge wave, and an endless stream of power emerged from the Mingshan flower and poured into the Sea of Consciousness. There was a lighthouse in the middle, shining brightly, reflecting every corner. Chen Mou's thoughts gradually diverged, and his mental power expanded infinitely. In his eyes, scenes emerged one after another. Stars, black holes, dark matter, antimatter, and multidimensional space. Chen Mou's spiritual thoughts shuttled through them, with infinite power and ability to do what others could not. Stars tumbled in his hands. He crossed the infinite universe, created galaxies, and destroyed space. This was not reality, nor was it a scene that Chen Mou would experience in the future. Instead, Chen Mou imagined it out of thin air using a fantasy method. Human power is limited, but human hearts are infinite. People are weak individuals, but their thoughts can expand infinitely. Like in ancient times, before the rise of the practice of cultivation, humans had already used their creative minds to make up myths one after another. This is the beautiful imagination of humans in the depths of the starry sky. Promote me. Chen Mou's breath began to rise wildly. What is a miracle? It is a miracle to change fate against the will of heaven and increase people's lifespan, but compared to the vastness of the galaxy, this miracle is not worth mentioning. Some people, when they are promoted to miracle masters, the miracles they feel are limited to the various scenes within the planet. They only dare to imagine waving their hands to summon thunder and turning their palms against fate. Chen Mou directly uses the starry sky as the background, and the pattern is different. How big your heart is, how big the stage is. Chen Mou is definitely not able to create a galaxy now, but he can achieve it in the future. Citibin's subordinates first ran to make a declaration of war, and then asked someone about Chen Mou's movements. It seems to be in the training room of District 16. I saw him going in that direction before, but I'm not sure. One person pointed the way. It happened that the amount of news recently decreased, and there was not much worth reporting. The operation team of today's brief had nothing to do. After hearing the news, they sent 2 people with cameras to follow the whole process. Witness the whole process of Citibin challenging Chen Mou. Can Chen Mou still maintain his dominant position? Zheng Xiangming also became excited and started writing an article. Citibin was born into the Cita family. Although this family is not a Hall of Fame family, its power is not much inferior to that of the Hall of Fame families. The only regret is that there is no saint in charge. When Citibin was born, the whole family was excited. Everyone felt that this was the hope for the future of the Cita family. The Cita family is very powerful, but once they clash with the Hall of Fame families, they always have to avoid the edge. They have had enough of this kind of forbearance. The Cita family has nothing to lack but a saint who can take on the responsibility of the family's future. Citibin undoubtedly shoulders this heavy responsibility. But it is indeed too difficult to become a saint. The family's earnest expectations are both motivation and pressure. This pressure is as heavy as a mountain and almost crushed Citibin. Let's talk about Chen Mou. 19 years ago, it was an ordinary year for the people of Yonghui City. There were no natural disasters or man-made disasters, but there were no major good news either. Everything was running according to the set trajectory. The grocery store owner was calculating how many of his goods he had sold and whether he should import a batch of magazines. The proprietress of the street restaurant was a little worried when she heard that the landlord was going to raise the rent. This is an ordinary city, with a group of ordinary people living there, but in that year, an extraordinary person was born. He was Chen Mou. It is said that Chen Mou learned to speak when he was just 1 month old, and he could recite 300 Tang poems by the age of 3. After entering elementary school, Chen Mou skipped classes every day, but he was still the first in the grade. Chen Mou felt a little boring, and ordinary courses could no longer satisfy him, so when he was in junior high school, he chose a school that taught both civil and military skills and began to embark on the path of cultivation. Yes, Chen Mou started practicing in junior high school. Because he did not lay a good foundation in elementary school, Chen Mou's path of practice was a bit difficult, and he was left behind by his peers. His poor family background further magnified this difficulty. But all this instead aroused Chen Mou's fighting spirit. He began to catch up and finally got admitted to Yonghui City's strongest school, Yonghui High School. At the beginning of the first year of high school, Chen Mou walked into the classroom in ordinary clothes, fantasizing about high school life. As soon as he entered the door, he saw a stunning woman. She was wearing a black dress and her skin was as white as snow. She was surrounded by people, like a proud princess. Chen Mou stepped forward to say hello, but the other party ignored him and walked past him. Chen Mou was a little embarrassed and a little ashamed of himself. The students of Yonghui High School are either rich or noble. Chen Mou seemed out of place here. But no matter where a genius goes, he can never be ordinary. In the first grade exam, Chen Mou achieved the first place in the written test of the whole school, directly leaving the second place behind by more than 20 points. The second place in the school, also in their class, is the woman in the black dress. Her name is Chu Xiaoxi. After seeing this article, other students in the Today's Brief team were amazed. Brother Zhang is really amazing. He investigated Chen Mou so thoroughly. I didn't even know that Chen Mou and Chu Xiaoxi had a love-hate relationship. Zhang Xiangming laughed. It's all made up. They just love to read this. Chapter 225, Strange Phenomenon in the Sky. Energy surged out, and Chen Mou began to attack the level of the Miracle Master. His thoughts extended out and spread in the vast void. In fact, with Chen Mou's current state of mind and his future strength, he was still thinking about a question: what is a miracle? The power of a Miracle Master is limited. It is impossible to defeat a saint, let alone shatter a star and destroy the Tao. But the power of a miracle should be infinite. Human power has limits, but miracles should not have limits. Otherwise, it cannot be worthy of the word miracle. Chen Mou closed his eyes and recalled the scene when he changed his grandfather's fate against the will of heaven. Communicate with heaven and earth. Use the power of heaven and earth to create miracles. Strange fluctuations emanated from Chen Mou, and the calm air in the room began to spin and rush. The airflow turned faster and faster, surrounding Chen Mou, like a dragon rising. Training room in Area 16. Sitabin's younger brothers followed the instructions of passers-by and walked over. They ran to the duty room and said respectfully, "Teacher, is Chen Mou here? We have something to do with him." Seeing that these people were all students, the teacher did not doubt him and checked the system. "Here in training room number 87. "Thank you, teacher." The younger brothers rushed to training room number 87 impatiently, and the staff of Today's Brief followed closely behind them. On the campus forum, Today's Brief has set up a special column for live broadcasting. The younger brothers arrived at training room number 87, but the door was tightly closed. They knocked on the door several times, but there was no response. "What's going on?" said the first younger brother. "I don't know, wait." The second younger brother was also confused. Maybe Chen Mou was too absorbed in his practice. In this case, they couldn't force their way in. After half an hour, the students watching the live broadcast on the forum became a little impatient. These two are really dedicated. They have been waiting in front of the door like an idiot for half an hour. I guess they will have to wait longer. I see you are quite bored too. You have also been watching here for half an hour. That can't be possible. I'm also logged into the school library and reading 36 questions on cultivation. I'm a little pessimistic about Sitabin's challenge to Chen Mou. Even if Chen Mou doesn't use that sword, so what? I guess Sitabin can't break through the defense of Chen Mou's magic armor. To be honest, Sitabin is indeed overestimating himself. Go and see if he can beat Sudao first. Do you still dare to challenge Chen Mou? Don't brag too much about Chen Mou. That magic armor is just condensed by the exercises. It's not indestructible. I heard that Sitabin has already practiced a powerful attack and killing method with great destructive power. One person said with some disdain. Chen Mou can fight Huang Fu Zet, all thanks to the blessing of the sword. His real strength is not that strong. What's more, the three people who are at the top of the Xiaoxinghu list have recently broken through to the middle stage of Miracle Masters. Chen Mou is a little behind. Even with a long sword, he can't fight Huang Fu Zet. What's going on? Why is the sky dark? In Xinghua Academy, many students were surprised to find that the sky, which was bright just now, suddenly became dark. What kind of weather is this? It's not going to rain. Sitabin's little brother number 1 saw this unusual scene through the window. The two staff members of Today's Brief also looked out the window in some surprise. Just above the 16th district, dark clouds accumulated and slowly expanded their range, like a canopy covering it. Why are there so many dark clouds in the 16th district? Fellow Taoist Fang is going through the tribulation. One of the staff members said with some amusement. Something is wrong. Another staff member muttered to himself, feeling that it was not a natural celestial phenomenon. Li Xingming was on his way to class when he suddenly looked up at the sky. Which bastard is casting a spell here? Many miracle masters and law scholars have the power to manipulate celestial phenomena. The only difference is that it is relatively simple for law scholars to do it, while miracle masters need to put in some effort to do it. But being able to do it does not mean that you can do it casually and regardless of the occasion. The weather in Xinghua Academy is very bright and there is no shortage of water. Who is making trouble? Li Xingming does not intend to deal with this matter for the time being. After all, class is important. But as he walked, his face changed, and he changed direction and rushed to the place where the dark clouds gathered. This dark cloud seems a little unusual. Could it be the legendary robbery cloud? By the way, he sent a message to the class, and the class was temporarily cancelled. Rumble. The dark clouds gathered more and more, and there was a faint lightning in the center. A dragon condensed by lightning shuttled out from the clouds, revealing a graceful curve, and then plunged into the clouds again. Lightning was everywhere, and electric snakes ran in all directions. A clanging sound rang out, and a thunder and lightning phoenix condensed from the clouds, flapping its wings and hitting the sky. Immediately afterwards, various strange beasts such as Kilin, Suzaku, Zuanwu, and Zizi emerged one by one. What's going on? Which teacher is practicing the new method? Many students were confused when they saw this scene. Lin Sichen's body was like glazed white jade, standing under the eaves, with a pair of beautiful eyes looking up at the sky, revealing a thoughtful look. This situation seems to have been recorded in the history of the clan. It was a breakthrough of a person with destiny, which alarmed the heavens, thus triggering a series of strange phenomena. Who could it be? Lin Sichen talked to himself, but a person's shadow emerged in his mind. In the sky, the dark clouds changed again, and stars were born in it, shining brightly. The world was born, and all things were flowing. The stars rumbled and rang, and they were moving in an orderly manner according to the set trajectory. In the training room, Chen Mou was going through a tribulation. But it was not a thunder tribulation, but a tribulation of the inner demon. In the sea of consciousness, hideous demons emerged one after another, riding chariots or tall horses, attacking Chen Mou's sea of consciousness. Fearful roars burst out, and the dark devilish energy permeated, trying to pollute every corner of the sea of consciousness. A dark and desperate mood began to spread. The mental power surged, and the lighthouse of the sea of consciousness shone brightly, forming a barrier to resist the impact of these devilish energy. The two sides confronted fiercely. Chen Mou's consciousness seemed to have turned into an outsider, watching all this coldly. He knew that this was actually a strange magnetic field between heaven and earth, which triggered the negative emotions in his heart. In people's hearts, there are all kinds of negative emotions such as greed, jealousy, and rage. This is a very natural thing, a manifestation of human nature, and it is not worth making a fuss about. For example, a person, whether male or female, will have more or less greed and lust. Chen Mou actually has this situation. If a person says that he is not interested in money, it is pure bragging. But greed does not mean there is no bottom line. Chen Mou sold the goods on the Zuan's exchange website that day. He knew that the website would charge a huge handling fee, but he did not choose to break the rules and bypass the website. This was the bottom line that Chen Mou set for himself. As for lust, Chen Mou felt that he was a little bit lustful. When he saw a beautiful woman, he couldn't help but take a few more glances. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.